in the winter. The full calendar year leading up to that, he had depressed numbers and availability. He was banged up a little bit. He only had 34 goals and 35 assists in 56 games in the calendar year leading up. He was 51st in NHL scoring over that time period. Max Domi had more points over that time period playing for, well, not the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then summer of 2023, he signs that big deal. He was coming off his worst prime season, that being like, oh, I'm Austin Matthews now. This is what I do. He scored 40 goals and 85 points. He bookended that season with Rocket Richard years. So he lived up to the contract. Just going into the contract season, he wasn't at his best. Now, Matthews clearly didn't need to be at his best leading into a contract season because Matthews has been given the world here. But, you know, we talk about all the different things that have led to the Maple Leafs having to sign their guys to big money. Except for Matthews, or aside from Matthews, these guys have been brilliant leading into their contract years. And the beat goes on here with Mitch Marner and John Tavares having to sign a contract this summer, likely, if they want to stick around, and having great years fighting for MVP rank, I think, for this Leafs team.
Well, I feel like you can take great research on that. I agree with everything. RT, retweet. But what I would say is I think you can take a cynical...
You're not going to argue with me like your other colleagues?
No. I wasn't arguing. I think you can take two different perspectives on this. You know, they have that level. They can get to that level. They are elite in their own way when it's their time. But you can look at it other ways like, do they need to be motivated by money? Do they need to be motivated by external factors to get them to that level? Like, is that going to just be about making that next dollar and they have that amazing run when it comes down to money? Like, depends how you want to view this core. And I guess it all depends on how successful this postseason is, because two of those players, as you mentioned, are going into a year where they need to get paid. And if it just ends up being first or second round exit and then they get paid, then you're going to view this as, well, thanks for coming. You get your money and maybe you play elsewhere. But if they have this amazing season, Marner and Tavares, and they find a way to be Leafs and there's some success at the end of this, then I'm happy about it. But it is an interesting way to view it. Like, if you're a Leafs fan, that could make you a little bit frustrated that the vision of what the core four is just need to make money. I need to get paid. I need to make more than my colleague. Yeah,
I think the most frustrating thing would be that these bargaining chips that you're playing for cash in the regular season. And that's what's used to actually determine the contracts. And then we kind of like push aside what happens in the playoff because it's such a small sample. It doesn't really matter that much compared to, I mean, it matters a ton, but it doesn't matter much in terms of negotiations. You earn your money in the regular season. You earn legacy in the postseason. That's a big divide that's kind of haunting this Maple Leafs team. I will say, though, there's 9 games left, so closer to 8 than 6. 9 games left here for the Maple Leafs. Mitch Marner's still stuck on 90 points. I mean, not stuck because, you know, he's been racking up points. But he needs to get 10 points in 9 games. 10 points in 9 games to eclipse the 100-point plateau for the very first time.
Oh,
now, it's
if he
not
ends up
like...
with 99 again, I just can't.
If Marner doesn't get to it, then he's the greatest 100-point scorer that's never got 100 points.
Yeah.
And that should count for something in negotiations. If you want to be paid like Leon Draisaitl, who might win the Hart Trophy for the second time, score 60 goals, eclipse 100 points with regularity, also great in the playoffs, which, again, as I mentioned, not as important. But, like, eventually now, this being his 9th NHL season, if you just haven't eclipsed 100 points, then are you a 100-point scorer?
No, technically not.
So clearly, like, he's been a great player this year. 22 goals, 68 points.
But, like, you know, you look at it, you're like, well,
games.
maybe you got one phantom one taken away from him that he should have had, but, like, you know, you're not.
No, he's an 100-point guy. He is an 100-point guy, but he's never got 100 points.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, if you want to be Leon, want to be Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, you want to be in that, like, elite tier, the 1 percentile. These guys are going 120 every other year. McDavid's going 150. Like, it is different.
That's pretty unbelievable.
And then there's not the playoff success as well. And again, no one's going to tell. I'm not going to tell Mitch Marner or Darren Ferris this. Like, they understand what they think he's worth and what he can get, and they're going to go and get it if they so choose. But I'm just saying, if we're doing the contract seasons, it's not exactly 125 points.
So there's a lot to play for down the next 9 days.
Meaningful game in Anaheim tonight.
I
More
think
ways than one.
Big time. This is, I was a player and there's no such thing as a cookie night, but like you look at it and you think tonight could be a night where he makes a little bit of ground towards that elusive 100.
I think he'll be pretty motivated to get it.
Regardless.
Like, I mean, the last couple of years have ended with like these Matthews goals chases. And it's like, how does that affect the postseason and how the games are a bit different down the stretch, and you're not competing for a division title, and it's all individual accolades and all these weird things that are at play that are really important in the grand scheme, other than for money. Like you'd like Marner to not be like last game of the year, the playoffs start in 2 nights. Hey, I got to go out there and get 2 points because I got to get to 100. Hopefully, like a 4-point outing against Anaheim to make sure that you get the 2 points and that Marner's not thinking about 100 points down the stretch. I think that'd probably be a good storyline tonight.
It will be a little easier tonight for the Maple Leafs because Jacob Trouba, one of the names on the Ducks that you would know, will not play tonight due to a lower body injury. Armin, our producer, sent us a fun stat in brackets ish. So take it as you'd like. The last time the Bruins and the Red Wings missed the playoffs, 1967.
Ooh.
Is that a fun stat?
That's one for Hockey Illuminati. Armin beat him to that?
Maybe you got it from him. I don't know. He didn't citate, no citations here.
We'll have to get to the bottom of that in the break.
Well, Maple Leafs will also clinch a playoff berth tonight if they defeat the Ducks and the Canadiens lose to the Panthers. But that didn't happen. So thanks, Luke Fox. That's an old tweet now. Anything else? We'll do some lines here.
Yeah, we'll do some lines. Give me a chance to bring those up because
we can.
They didn't practice this morning on the second half of a back-to-back, of course.
But I wouldn't
expect so many changes. Obviously,
there are no changes.
Anthony Stolarz is going to get the start for the Maple Leafs. Up front, you're going to see Matthew Nyes with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, as usual. Bobby McMahon and John Tavares and William Nylander, who have formed a great trio, will stick together. Scotty Lawton, Max Domi, and Calle Jarnkrok on the third line, with a fourth line of David Kampf, Pontus Holmberg, and Steven Lorentz. On the back end, it'll be Morgan Riley and Brandon Carlo, who survived that fight with Mike Malot's brother.
Yes, that was
Shout out to the Malott crew.
Shout out to Sportsnet.
And Brandon Carlo for hanging in there. I mean, not even hanging in. Like, that was a
great
equal opportunity fight. It was great. But, brother UC fighter, I think that's a notch on the belt.
I was hoping Cece would say that when he was calling the fight.
Oh, he's got some work to do. That's a missed opportunity.
Just criticizing my coworkers all night.
There you go.
No, I was like, Cece, his brother's a fighter.
To round out the blue line, Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev, co-MVPs in Ailish's eyes, Simone Benoit and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Joseph Woll getting the start, of course.
Okay, minute 30. There's 9 games left. What's the number one thing that you need to learn about the Leafs in the next 9 games?
I mean, it's probably the starting goaltender, right? I mean, that is number one.
You don't think you know it?
I don't think I know it. Do you know it?
I think I know it. I think it's Anthony Stolarz.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're like firm.
Ask
that's
me
it.
about this on
9
Wednesday.
games left. You're in?
Next, we have another game Wednesday. Could have a completely different story here. Joseph Woll stands on his head against the Ducks. Maybe
let's just say Leafs win a competitive game tonight. Joseph Woll starts on Wednesday. What's your reaction?
I'd be surprised. I really think it's Stolarz on Wednesday.
Be criticizing
Florida.
colleagues and the Maple Leafs.
No, never. I'm not a critical person, but I'm observing some interesting pieces of information. How about that?
So Woll versus Lucas Dostal starting for the Anaheim Ducks.
That's it.
In a winnable game, a pretty important game for the tenor of the plane ride home after a California swing.
No pressure. All right, we will take a quick break. On the other side, we will do a quick look at your key to victory and your player, plural, to watch. I got players to watch for you tonight because it's Sunday Fun Day against the Anaheim Ducks. We'll take a quick break. We'll get you set for puck drop around the corner. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
What's up, basketball fans? Thank you all for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever it is where you are watching from. It's very important. This next step is so important. Bring more basketball fans here to the chat to help us raise money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto just by hitting that like button and sharing this link out to all of your friends on social media. Got a special message from Joe Bowen. Thank you for hitting the like. Thank you for sharing this out and helping us build this awesome community. Good luck to your team. We'll see you in the chat.
This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So like, subscribe, and share, because every click impacts SickKids' mission to heal the future.
Great lease and finance options.
Heard of Uline?
You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CR-V Sport here in Allison, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda sensing technologies, we made sure it can handle Ontario winters. But you're probably wondering, what's with the one-touch power moonroof? Well, Ontario, we hold on to the hope that one day winter will be over. Get ready for spring and adventure with the Honda CR-V Sport.
Hey, Daddy Gang, this is Alex Cooper. The SiriusXM app is your home for all things Unwell. All new exclusive channels from me and my friends. Unwell Music. The latest episodes of your favorite podcasts. Amy Schumer, Monica Lewinsky, Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton, Winnie Harlow, welcome.
Hello, call her daddy.
And more live, unfiltered conversations for the girls.
We're gonna believe this. Who was it?
Why? Just search Unwell in the SiriusXM app.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status. And SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best, former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scores!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
A maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
This is Molson Leafs hockey.
We're about to bring the ball right now. Sound the alarm.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert as we get you set for the last game of the Maple Leafs West Coast swing as they face the Anaheim Ducks. They got 1 point versus the Sharks and a shootout loss, 2 points versus the Kings. And tonight to be determined. But a great opportunity as the Panthers lost today in regulation to the Habs. The Leafs have a point up on them. And they play each other Wednesday. And the Panthers will be on a back-to-back against the Montreal Canadiens. Also, Lightning, 91 points. Big winning streak for them, so you got to keep them in mind as well.
Yeah, it's not just about the Panthers. Lightning definitely lingering as well. So taking care of business against an Anaheim team that is probably starting to look one eye on the offseason, given that they have nothing to play for anymore. It's a big, primetime, I guess, Sunday night game. Anaheim, big team coming through. There might be actually some atmosphere at the Honda Center tonight, given that there might be some Leaf fans. But it's a winnable game for the Maple Leafs. You got to win this game. You got to take the 2 points. You have to see what happened earlier and take advantage of it.
All right. I hope that wasn't your next message.
It's pretty close.
Well, let's do it again. The key to victory is brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Up your game. Lease a CRV Sport from 1.99% up to 36 months. Visit HondaOntario.com. It's Honda Center.
There you go.
Oh, big Honda night.
Synergy. Good synergy. It kind of was. Heating to the scoreboard, very important. The Panthers lost today. This is not a perfect scenario given that you played last night, but it is a gift, so I would try to take advantage, but I will give you a little bit more. One shot attempt at 5-on-5 in the third period. It was a good third period for the Maple Leafs, but one shot attempt at 5-on-5 last night, got to be a bit better at 5-on-5 to beat this Anaheim team despite their deficiencies. Let's go to the player to watch, presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca. Who do we have?
I have the core four.
Okay.
So if they're all going to cash in tonight, cookie night, an opportunity to, pack the stat sheet. Here is each core four member's 2 points or more stats here are odds for you at Bet365. So Matthews to get 2 or more points, 160. Marner, 190. Nylander, 215. And Tavares plus 260. I think that's bare minimum for those guys. But also, because I'm feeling generous, Joseph Woll tonight, big opportunity between the pipes. Who's going to be the starting goaltender come night one of the playoffs? Well, Joseph Woll to get a shutout, plus 1,000. And for the Ducks to score under 1.5 goals, so just one, is plus 280. Choose wisely. I think they can all come true.
I think they could all come through.
Parlay
I guess,
that up.
But I kind of like the first ones because it could be a little sloppy. And if it's a little sloppy, some points, it could actually be a cookie night. I know you said that doesn't exist.
Oh, it exists.
Could be cookie night, though.
Not usually for me. But it will be exciting to watch nonetheless. All right, Puck Drop with Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph is next. Maple Leafs on their final night.
Every reaction that I have seen to the breaking news is what the hell just happened.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
The Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
There has to be more to the story. Whoa, this is out of nowhere.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach.
Live sports talk when you need it is on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
For months, I've been listening to hockey people warn the Sabres, don't move on from Dylan Cousins. This is the one you'll regret. The fact that you're trading in division is amazing to me. This guy can come back and haunt you like every Sabre does. But if I'm an Ottawa Senators fan, Jake, I'm over the moon on this trade.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. Haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking vows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. I think Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. If he played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
It's soccer's most thrilling league. League.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
To Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Left wing side, Riley with a wrist shot. Scores!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
To tangle with the Ducks. And the supervisors of the spring stations tonight brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in. Lucas Dostal will get the start for the Ducks. He's 21-19-6. 3.01 and a .905 save percentage, but he's 0-2-1 against the Leafs with a 4.98 goals against average based on really one bad game that he had against Toronto. And it will be Joseph Wall. 24-13-1 this season, 2.80 and a .905 save percentage as well. 1-0-0 against Anaheim and a 1.50 goals against average in the one game he played against the Ducks.
Yeah, the strange thing for Dostal was last year he played in a game where he stopped 55 of 57, 2-1 overtime loss was brilliant, then lost 9-2 in Toronto and got pulled after 4 goals.
We're underway. The Leafs to the right and the Ducks to the left as it's played down into the Leafs zone, and it comes up on the near boards and is lofted out at center to Marner. Knocks it down for Matthews. 2-on-1. Looking for Marner. A shot. Just went wide of the goal on the near side. Cleared back in now by McCabe. McCabe gets it back to the net for Matthews. Down the boards, McCabe trying to pinch to keep it in. Matthews backs up the pinch to keep the puck in at the blue line. Down along the boards for Nyes. Nyes working out of the corner, had to go off his stick, and the Ducks are going to get it out at center ice and play it in over the line. Zellweger got it into the Toronto zone, but it's quickly set high to neutral ice. Brought right back in again by Hellison and gets into the corner. He'll send it around the boards to the far side as the Ducks get their first change in. Puck comes back to the point. McMahon couldn't get it. It comes in front of the goal, and unable to deliver the shot was Ryan Strome. Now another pass in front of the net is deflected off the blocker of Wall. A couple of whacks at it as it comes back to the blue line. Kept in at the point. Long shot in traffic. Intercepted by Toronto, and Nylander turns back up ice as he gets it out at center ice. Tavares backhanding it in wide of the net. Nylander into the forecheck with a bit of a hit. McMahon against the boards has kept the puck into the offensive zone for Toronto, and now the Ducks are able to come away with it. Played out at center ice and unable to get in over the line was Alex Killorn, and the Leafs get it back at center. Domi on the left wing with a saucered pass looking in front of the goal, but it was intercepted and then launched high back to the Toronto blue line. Domi swipes at it to get it into the offensive end, but backpedaling is Zellweger to come up with it. A pass up on the right side and in on goal, a backhand, and that one off the side of the net. Has a great opportunity there by the Ducks as it's chopped out into the center ice area. Brought back at center by Zellweger. Got across the line but couldn't penetrate, and Zegras couldn't help him out. Leafs have it back in their own zone. Hearing some background noise from another broadcast maybe that's going on, but we'll press on here. Down into the corner it goes. Played back towards the blue line, and out come the Ducks to get it down into the Leaf end. And an icing call coming here against Anaheim will bring it back.
Both teams getting a great opportunity right off the start. Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner in a 2-on-1. And Marner tries to go back the other way on the one-timer. And Anaheim gets a opportunity. Trevor Zegras in on Joseph Wall. And actually, he had Wall leaving the post.
Yep.
Zegras trying to backhand it short side.
Matthews won the draw. Riley is able to keep it in. Swatted by Marner deeper into the corner. Knies gets out and looks for a pass. And then from a point, it's shot by Marner just over top of the goal. Matthews is behind the net. Centered in front. They score! Knies right on the doorstep where he's made a living this year. Gets the Leafs on the board early with a 1-0 goal. 17-14 to go in the period.
Well, Drew Hellison, the defenseman, thought he had Matthew Knies tied up. But Knies got positioning at the top of the crease and kind of just waited to the last moment to pull his stick away and get it into position. And this is about a 2-footer from the top of the crease. A great pass from Austin Matthews. But if you're Greg Cronin, the coach of the Ducks, you're not thrilled with the defensive coverage there.
2:46 the time of the goal. Knies is 26th of the season. And Matthews draws the lone assist. And the Leafs, who did not score the opening goal.
Anaheim is challenging the play previous to the goal for a missed game stoppage for a high stick.
All right. Well, we had this last night, the high stick.
Yeah, we've already beaten a charge on this before.
This is nothing now.
Johnny Cochran.
I don't know when that would have been.
It might have been right at the blue line when the Leafs were able to knock it down. Right in the near boards, left wing side from a Leaf standpoint.
Trevor Hansen and Brandon Schrader are the referees. Bevan Mills and Justin Johnson are the linesmen. A whole new crew in Anaheim from last night. Greg Cronin, the former assistant coach with the Maple Leafs.
And yeah, here it is. Ooh, and you know what? I think this is similar to the Matthews one.
Yes.
It is close. And it is Mitch Marner.
Yeah, it's got to be shoulder and fully extended, standing, not bending. And so, he swatted it in. The linesman waved it off. He had a pretty good look at it.
And by the way, I still think the Matthews one was a high stick.
All right. Well, we're going to wait and see here.
Yeah. Martin Ryan, I mean, to me, this
looks all right to me.
This looks level with the shoulder. I don't know if there's enough to overturn this.
Well, here's the answer. Trevor Hansen.
After the coach is challenged by Anaheim for the missed game stoppage, it was contact by a high stick. Therefore, no.
So what do we know?
This one looks better than last night's.
Yeah, but if you had to choose.
If you had to choose, we might as well do that. Anyway, all right, video review knocks this one.
You know what? I mean, you get the one angle now that we're seeing for the first time, which just sort of almost looks like it's from the scoreboard. It looks like it's a high stick. But now you get one that's close at ice level, and it doesn't. So it depends on which angle you want to go with. And that's one thing that Jim Hiller said last night after the LA game. He said they obviously didn't have the angle we had that showed it was clearly a high stick. So the goal for Knies comes off the board.
So we're back to a 0-0 tie. Tanev got it up on the wing. Camp can't get it in deep. It's pushed back at center. And the Leafs will regroup the puck and play it off the boards and play it down into the offensive zone. Mintyukov goes around back of the net and gets it up on the near boards for Drew Hellison, and he gets it out at center. Brought in across the line. Close play there. Lundestrom got a shot away, but it was knocked down. Kept alive by the Ducks on the far boards. Good hit by Tanev to knock it away as it comes around the boards to the near side. Hellison back to the point. Fed over on the left wing side. A shot. That's blocked. And the Leafs have it. And David Camp with skating room now coming out of his own zone, dropping it off to the defense, hoping to get a change going, and he does, but Nylander is able to bring it in over the line. Blew a tire, and down he went, and the puck is turned over quickly and brought back at center, but not into the Leaf zone yet, as now it is shot in, and around out of the net comes Wall to play it into the corner, and Tanev will get it airmailed out at center ice. Lacombe plays it back at center. Tavares knocked it away. Nylander trying to get in over the line. Couldn't drag it in on the backhand. And the Ducks will knock it down into the Toronto end. Played into the corner then. And Benoit will find Tavares. He got it up on the wing. The Leafs just get it out at center. Radko Gudas back into the lineup. He's been in and out with injury a lot this year. And Gudas will snap it into the Toronto zone. Around on the boards on the far side. Knocked away there by Colangelo. Comes back to the near point. Back right on the blue line, but intercepted by the Leafs, but not cleared. Intercepted and brought in with a shot, and down his wall out at the top of the crease to make a good save there, and he will hold on as Shillington was right in front of him.
Well, Simon Benoit decided he was trying to go up the middle of the ice to get it out, and it's picked off. And Wall has to make his first difficult stop of the night, although it was right into the breadbasket. Now, I'm trying to remember, and it might have been a John Tortorella move or something where he could have challenged the goal against, but it was at a point in the game where
Yarn Cook, a quick pass for Riley across the line, stopped up there nicely at the blue line, fed into the slot area, and a shot by the Leafs. Carlo was blocked in front of the net. Now another turnover almost stolen back by Toronto, but Colangelo gets it to center. Here the Ducks in over the line. On the wing on the shot, and that was stopped as Zegras had another good scoring opportunity, but this time Wall was right over, covering that near post. Leafs get it airmailed to center. Lawton couldn't come up with it. Troy Terry down the right wing boards is wedged to the wall there by McCabe. The puck goes to the left wing side, down in around back of the Toronto goal. Coming out with it, Zegras trying to get it back to the point. Terry with a pass in front, trying to stick handle it. Oh, and a great play by Matthews. He saves a goal. The net was empty. Is there going to be a penalty here?
Yeah, a little early, a tripping penalty. Matthews was still able to get to a puck that had gone across the crease.
2-minute minor tripping.
And it's going to be Brian Carlo is going to go for the Leafs, so Anaheim will get the first power play of the game. But boy,
Terry had an empty net if Matthews doesn't get there. So Carlo in the box. First power play goes to the Ducks, and the penalty kill brought up to 36 months. Visit OntarioHonda.com.
Conversation between Chris Tanev. He's going to have to bring over one of his ankle guards. Boy, that's almost like the goalie playing without a mask, isn't it? Remember the shots he blocks?
With Tanev and a penalty kill, I think I'd want that ankle guard. A draw won by the Leafs, fed around the boards. It's grabbed off in the far corner and launched out at center ice by Toronto. Back to retrieve it. Zellweger. The drop pass allows Strome to bring it in over the line. He heads to the front of the net. Terry in the slot, can't get it. Shot blocked. Rebound. And Wall with the quick hands is able to cover that up. Leafs had a chance to clear, and it was blocked.
Yeah, Austin
back into the goal crease.
Yeah, Austin Matthews right off the top of the crease. This stat worries me when you're playing a team like Anaheim. Their power play dead last in the National Hockey League, 32nd. They're 1 for 25 in their last 7 games, 0 for 15 in their last 4. You always think when you look at that, they're due.
They're due?
Well, we thought LA was due, right? Yeah. A loss on a home ice.
Puck on the near boards, not cleared by Camp the first time, but the Leafs defense get a hold of it, and they send it out and down the ice. Minute 23 to go in the first power play of the game. Specialty teams of the Ducks have just been absolutely atrocious here this season. Brought in over the line. McTavish tried to get it back to the point. One-timer went wide of the goal. Trapped on the near side. Trying to play it back. McTavish had it blocked. It goes back to the point again on the left wing side. A shot knocked down. Big rebound in front. Nyes finally gets a hold of it. And he backhands it high out and down the ice with 54 seconds left to go in the power play. Jackson Lacombe starting out of his own end. Drops it back. Brought on through the Leafs neutral zone up in over the line. McTavish with it again on the near half boards. Gets it back into the slot. Shot taken by Lacombe was blocked. Grabbed off by the Leafs. Out and down the ice. Toronto's penalty kill, 16th in the NHL, 78.4%, 46 goals and 213 times short. And 20 seconds remain in this power play. Terry in on the right side, centers right through the goal crease to the far side, kept in at the blue line. Zellweger to the near side. Vetrano trying to get a saucered pass back. Almost knocked away there by the Leafs as it goes into the corner. Yarncrook almost had a breakaway. Centering pass, knocked off a stick to the near boards as the penalty expires. Ducks send it around and into the slot. It comes back to the point. Vetrano, his shot is off the mark wide. Good pressure here. Anaheim's had the first 8 shots as it's blockered away by Wall up into the screen and out of play. And the Leafs, who were on top of their game last night against a tough opponent who had not lost at home very often, are running into a weaker opponent tonight and not coming out of the gate very strong. No score. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
After 7 years away,
it started with a choice, a friendship, and some acoustic instruments.
Mumford & Sons returned with a new album,
Rushmere,
and return to their roots.
Light me up, I'm wasted in the dark.
It felt like when we were starting out.
Hear the story behind Rushmere, their complete catalog and rarities, and songs they handpicked for you.
On our very own channel, Mumford & Sons Radio.
Now for a limited time on Channel 79 and at home with the SiriusXM app.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status, and SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best, former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scored!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team.
Leafs Radio Network.
Well, we've had a little bit of everything in the first period. A goal called back because of a high stick. Of course, last night, a very controversial goal scored by Austin Matthews. Short-handed, tied the game after a high stick was ruled to be playable. Leafs get it out at center. McMahon launches it into the right wing corner. First in there to the puck. Bobby McMahon leaving it for Nylander. Back of the goal for Tavares. Tavares swings it back to the point. Riley's shot is weak and wide on the short side. And cleared to the line, but not out. Good play by Tavares to keep it in. Nylander from a sharp angle. Another sharp angle shot by Tavares is stopped by Dostal. Played back down into the Toronto zone. Wall out of the cage to play it into the corner. Leafs playing back-to-back nights. Anaheim had the evening off. Matthews gets it in over the line. Hustles to the puck, but it gets poked by him. Played up on the wing, and out come the Ducks to center ice. A pass taken by Carlson gets in on the left wing, and a good poke check made there by the Leaf defender in Brandon Carlo. Or at least Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Centering pass in the goal crease. And Wall. Good boxing out done there by Simon Benoit. He left the puck alone. He went and made sure
tied the stick up, yep.
That the stick was tied up, and Wall had no problem getting out there to cover it up and stop play. 10:54 to go in the first period.
Midway through the first period, 10-3 the shots favoring Anaheim. As we mentioned, last year the Leafs swept California, and that included the 2-1 overtime win in Anaheim. Game in which they badly outshot the Ducks, but they flipped the script so far in this one.
Well, the Pacific Divisions has been beneficial to the Leafs. They're 10-3-2 against them this year. You find the game camera to be further away from the rink here as the shot goes deflecting up into the screen and out of play. Just don't find it to be as tight.
I know.
Anyway, we'll do what we can. 10:37 to play here in the period.
Bizarre stats coming in for Anaheim. When they score first, they're 23-9-4. When they give up the first goal, they're 9-23-4. And then you start looking at it going, wait, no, it doesn't have to match, does it?
No, it doesn't, but it does.
Yeah.
Face off on a knee, won by the Ducks. Played around the boards by Zellweger. Cut off there. The Leafs keep it in. It goes around back of the net. Zellweger is there again. And this time it has played out into the neutral zone. And Brandon Carlo is back to play it up on the wing. And here's Scotty Lawton bringing it through center ice. Lawton hits the line. Tried to chip it in on the right side. Play it around the boards by Yarncrook. Back of the goal. Domi got away from one man. Trying to play it out in front. He does. A shot taken there by Yarncrook. Went wide on the short side. Played off the boards through center. Leafs trap it and shoot it right back in again. Domi will pressure on the near wing. Tries to come away with it. A centering pass, though, is intercepted. Brought back by Troy Terry, who will get it down into the Toronto zone. Oliver Ekman-Larsson poked it up the boards, but didn't get it out. He'll get a second whack at it. And now the Leafs, Tavares finds an open man in Benoit. And Benoit for Nylander, but Nylander is in some distress there. Can't move it up ice. And the Leafs have it back of the goal line as Benoit plays it up the left wing, but misses Nylander. And an icing call will come as a result. 9:27 to go in a scoreless first period. Anaheim with 9 shots on goal. The Maple Leafs with 3.
They've taken one away already. 10-3 in the last face-off.
Well, they have to take the one away from Nyes, who scored when the high stick was made. So that's one on.
Anaheim had 10.
But you are in charge of shots on goal, as you are aware.
You can argue.
No, I'm not arguing.
Department.
I'm just making a general statement. Long shot from the other end of the rink is stopped by Dostal. So how many are there now?
That doesn't count.
If it went in, it would have.
No, not a shot. Remember we had that. Tyler Yamamoto scored in Toronto, and it wasn't a shot on goal. Remember that?
Yep.
Behind the net.
McCabe back in his own zone. The puck comes ahead, and it's offside at the Anaheim blue line as unable to hold the line was David Kemp. There's no score first period from Anaheim, California. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CR-V Sport here in Alliston, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda sensing technologies, we made sure it can handle Ontario winters. But you're probably wondering, what's with the one-touch power moonroof? Well, Ontario, we hold on to the hope that one day winter will be over. Get ready for spring and adventure with the Honda CR-V Sport. Lease with rates from 1.99% for 36 months, plus get a $1,500 Honda bonus. OAC conditions apply. Made with the
Hey, you! Yeah, you! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Are you checking your bracket during the commercial break like the rest of us? Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us. So why not make it official? Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a live game. We're on a mission to hit 100,000 insiders, and you can help us grow this amazing community of sports fans making a difference. Join the conversation. Keep it classy, and we'll see you in the chat. Good luck to your team and your bracket.
Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Had Montreal lost today to the Florida Panthers, the Leafs could clinch a playoff spot with a victory tonight. But I think Montreal did the Leafs a big favor by knocking off the Panthers by a score of 4-2. So the Maple Leafs can open up a 3-point lead atop the Atlantic Division with a victory in this game against Anaheim.
Montreal's beaten Florida all 3 games this year and play them again on Tuesday.
Puck comes back to the point. Pass onto the near wing for Zellweger and a shot. There's Wall again. Getting to that and making sure there's no rebound, and he'll cover it up. Things got a little heated at the end of the game as one of the Panthers took a slap shot down the ice.
Yeah, Mikkola.
At the end of the game when they were down by 2. So
Daniel Alfredson did the same thing at the end of Game 4 of the playoffs against Anaheim in the finals. Ottawa and Anaheim. Remember, he wound up, and I think he hit Scott Niedermayer or somebody drilled him at the buzzer and got the same result.
Face off in the Toronto zone, won by the Leafs. McCabe airmails it high to center, gobbled up there by Nyes. He pushes it on to Matthews to Marner. He stops up. Marner working back towards the blue line, sends it to the front of the goal. Nyes couldn't get turned around in time as he was tied up by Jackson Lacombe. And Dostal will hold on to the puck. Mitch Marner closing in on 100 points. He has 90. 22 goals, 68 assists for 90 points. Leading the Maple Leafs in that department. Nylander was 78 is next. John Tavares is the hottest Leaf. Month of March has been terrific. Back to the point. Leafs go D to D. A pass into the slot to Marner. Holds. Got a shot away, but it caromed off a stick. It's able to be knocked back in a little bit deeper, but the Ducks will get it to center and get into the Leaf zone. Pass in on the right side. Lacombe tries to send it to the front of the net and was deflected back of the goal. Leafs come out of the scrum. Played ahead now for Marner. He reverses it to the defense, and both teams are getting a change started as Marner starts out with a pass ahead on the left wing, and Jake McCabe will shoot it in before they head to the bench. Down into the corner go the Leafs after a loose puck, but Domi couldn't come up with it, and the Ducks will break it back at center. Radko Gudas gets in over the line and heads to the front of the net against Joseph Wall. Now that would have been interesting. Maybe Wall would have remembered a certain playoff ending and he might have taken a good shot at Radko Gudas as it's played back into the Duck zone. Up on the right side, Zellweger tripped up, trying to get in over the line. It goes down around back of the net, pinned there by Benoit, kicked out in front of the net. The puck goes to the far boards. Lundestrom works it back to the point, fed around behind the goal, but Benoit will get there. Nice little 2-foot pass to free it up, and the Maple Leafs make a couple of good passes to extricate themselves from the defensive zone and play it down into Anaheim territory. 6:47 left to play in the first, and an icing call coming here against the Ducks that'll be brought back into the Anaheim zone.
Well, Mitch Marner's quest for 100 points a couple of years ago, 99 he finished with. He had a chance to hit 100. I think the final game was in New York against the Rangers. Wasn't able to do it.
Yeah. Other important games tonight. Ottawa at Pittsburgh, and it is 1-0 Penguins in that game.
Ottawa looks pretty poised to lock up the first wild card spot, 7th spot in the East.
Played along back of the net. Ducks get to it in the far corner and get it out at center. Anaheim at home this year, 18-16-2. 72 points for Greg Cronin's team. And they'll regroup it and play it up on the left wing.
Another penalty to Toronto coming up.
And the goaltender getting to the bench, and the extra attacker is on the ice. Not sure what it was for. Didn't see anything. Strome comes out of his own zone. Terry couldn't get in over the line, and now it'll be intercepted by the Leafs in the second straight power play. I think puck went into the net.
So the slash, maybe?
Toronto 88 has a minor penalty for holding.
No.
Nylander for holding.
Just a guess. Yeah, kind of a reach with the right arm.
So the power play again for Anaheim, second of the period. Penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Up your game. Lease the CRV Sport from 1.99% up to 36 months. Visit ontariohonda.ca. Draw is won by the Leafs and forced out into the center ice area. Matthews, who scored a shorthanded goal, his second of the season, to tie the game last night, out there along with Marner as the puck comes in over the line. A shot, good toe save made there by Wall. And then a nice little 2-foot pass by Matthews to the defense allows them to get a clear shot at icing the puck. Ducks bringing it out of their own zone. Lacombe got it up on the right side. McTavish to the left wing side, and a bad pass comes out at the blue line, and it'll be touched. This should bring it all the way back into Anaheim territory, as it's a deliberate offside.
It was off. Well, off the skate, and then off the skate, and then he tried to keep it from going back into the zone. So I think it was going to stay outside the Leaf line.
Anaheim with the new colored jerseys.
I don't mind them.
Orangish, reddish orange. Arm numerals are tough to discern at times. Terry gets to the Leaf line, backhands it down into the Toronto zone, swept along the boards. Hammered by Benoit, but trapped at the blue line and maintained. Then Camp knocks his man down, but the puck goes free to the far side. Shot from an angle is blocked there by Carlo. Comes back to the point. Walking in, trying to get a shot away there was Zellweger. It goes into the corner. Back for Zellweger in the middle of the ice at the point. Fed back into the far corner. Zellweger looking for a return pass. It's going to be sent to him there by Strome. Zellweger down into the slot. Bounces away and comes to the near wing. Vetrano works down into the near corner. Sends it back to the goal. Onto the far wing again. Looking back into the slot once more. Zellweger can't get a shot away, and Vetrano having difficulties with it, getting it back to the net. Bounced high in the air that Benoit is unable to get his stick on. Leafs play it into the corner, and finally it is freed up for Matthew Nyes, and he finds an opening to flip it high and get it out and down the ice with 7 seconds left in the second consecutive power play for Anaheim. Out they come as the penalty box door opens and Nylander steps on. Along the boards, it's played into the corner and back of the net. Tanev got it freed up. The puck came right out in front. The Leafs were able to come away with it. Nylander playing it off the boards just into the offensive zone. Going back after it is Jackson Lacombe. Lacombe, a left wing feed. Got it to the red line, but not in. Then the Leafs steal it. Tavares, or at least Yarncrook, getting it in over the line and sending it around the boards to the near side. And now, with 3:33 left to play in the first period, the puck back down in Anaheim territory. There's no score here in the first period. Deflected high off a stick and into the spectators. And play will be whistled down.
Pretty good crowd in Anaheim for a Sunday night.
Yeah, looks like there's at least the lower bowl is fairly full. It is a scoreless tie. The Ducks and the Maple Leafs. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every reaction that I have seen to the breaking news is what the hell just happened.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
The Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
There has to be more to the story. Whoa, this is out of nowhere.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach.
Live sports talk when you need it is on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status, and SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best, former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scores!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that
What's up, Insiders? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Maple Leafs game. Now's the time of the show for you to let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Speaking of which, where's Tom? Tom!
I'm right here, Dad.
Hey.
And I want to know where you're from, too, and see how far it reaches.
All right, so you heard the man. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. City and province in Canada, city and state in the United States, all over the world. Let us know. Put your flag emoji in the chat, or let us know your city and country. So great to be hanging out with all of you tonight. Now let's get back to the hockey. What are we going to start? Start the chant, Tom.
Go Leafs, go.
Yeah.
Down into Anaheim territory. No score here in the first period. A centering effort by Marner there just hit the back of the net, or yet Matthews coming down the slot. Round the boards, it'll go to the far side. Marner up there, but it is poked out at center ice. Played back by Riley, but brought right back in again by Anaheim. Left wing side, a centering pass, and looking for a man in front, but it was knocked away. Gauthier was there, but it never reached him. Ducks get it ahead. Cutter Gauthier gets it in over the line. Pinned to the boards by Nyes, allowing Riley access to the loose puck. And he'll get it back from his defense partner and start up at center with a pass. And knocked on the backhand by Nylander into the zone. Nylander in pursuit. Puck is spun along the wall. Grabbed off there by Minchikov. He got it up on the wing. And the Ducks will get it out at center with a rink-wide pass. Colangelo taken to the boards efficiently there by McCabe. Puck is back in the near corner. Tanev battles for it. It comes along the boards. Tanev still has it. Now looking to try and play it in front of his own goal and finds Tavares, who gets it ahead. Nylander couldn't get around the last defender as Drew Hellison broke that rush up. Minute 48 to go in a scoreless first period. Played down into the corner. Side of the net, coming out in front with a shot, and that was stopped. Zegras has had 3 real good looks. It comes back to the near point. Another shot goes off a leg and well wide of the goal. Back of the net again. Anaheim getting it back to the point. Shillington to the far left wing side. Back into the slot area again. Shillington on the near boards. Into the slot to the far point. Kept alive, walking the blue line. Still with it. Fed into the corner then by Zellweger to the near side. No shot yet. Minute 12 to go in the period. Back to the point. Here's a drive, and that whistled wide of the goal. Rebound on the near side and a shot. That went wide. Leafs in need of relieving some pressure to get a change, and they don't get it far enough down the ice. Now they'll get a couple of people exchanged, but the Ducks are doing likewise. Troy Terry sends it in over the line. Now around back of the net, cut off by Frank Vetrano, a centering pass, and that was blistered just wide of the goal by Lacombe. Leafs are able to get it out at center. Brought in over the line by Domi. Here's Domi closing in, gets a move, a backhand, scores! Max Domi makes a great move to go to his backhand. And with 35.2 seconds in a period that has been dominated by Anaheim, the Leafs have scored twice, but only one counts.
Boy, this is after weathering the storm back at their own end. And now you see why Anaheim is dead last in goals against. This is a 3-on-3. But Radko Gudas, Joe, is the one that sort of backs up and gets on his heels. There was a fake shot by Domi. It froze Gudas. The other 2 players on the 3-on-3 were covered, and Domi simply goes forehand, backhand around Gudas, and then a pretty good backhand.
Was.
Pass goes stall to give the Leafs the 1-0 lead.
Wanted to make sure they dropped the puck. We didn't have another goal disallowed, but Leafs have taken the lead. 19 seconds to go in the period. Camp got it on the wing, and the Leafs don't get it out as Pontus Holmberg takes his man to the boards, and now the puck in the Toronto end, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson banking it ahead and across the line. 2 seconds left in the period. Will come to an end. Well,
Anaheim was down 2-1 to the New York Rangers on Friday night, and down 3-1 into the third before mounting a comeback and sending it to overtime, in which they won.
Yarncroc and Lawton with his second point as a Maple Leaf, his first assist. Domi with his 8th goal of the season, and the Maple Leafs score a late one to take a 1-0 lead. I don't think it's going to make Coach Craig Berube any more happy.
No, but I think he's going to be thrilled with a good bounce back period from Joseph Wall. He stops all 11 shots he faces, but too much offensive zone time given up by the Leafs to Anaheim in the first period.
Domi from Yarncrook and Lawton, and it's 1-0 Toronto, and we'll ship it off to Ailish Forfire and Justin Cuthbert for our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
SiriusXM drops you into Miami Music Week with the main stage energy of live sets from superstar DJs on BPM Channel 52. A global house party direct from South Beach on Diplo's Revolution Channel 53. And poolside vibes with sets of down-tempo and deep house chill Channel 55. Live through Sunday and at home with the SiriusXM app.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status. And SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best, former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scored!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
For months, I've been listening to hockey people warn the Sabres, don't move on from Dylan Cousins. This is the one you'll regret. The fact that you're trading in division is amazing to me. This guy can come back and haunt you like every Sabre does. But if I'm an Ottawa Senators fan, Jake, I'm over the moon on this trade.
Point with Boomer Gordon, 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. They haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking bows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. I think Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. He played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Brought in over the line by Domi. Here's Domi closing in, gets a move, a backhand, scores! Max Domi makes a great move to go to his backhand. In a period that has been dominated by Anaheim, the Leafs have scored twice, but only one counts.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's 1-0 lead for the Leafs after 20 minutes. Ailish Forfire, Justin Cuthbert with you for your intermission breakdowns. And Bonesy put it best. It could have been 2-0 Leafs. It ends up 1-0 on a beautiful goal by Max Domi near the end of the period to give something for the Leafs going to the first intermission with a little bit of a success in terms of scoring, but it wasn't their most dominant of periods.
No, it wasn't, but Max Domi gets one for the highlight reel for the season for
gorgeous.
sure. One of his nicest goals as a Maple Leaf. It was a beautiful goal, beautiful move on Radko Gudas, and there's some history there. Remember Radko Gudas a couple years ago screaming in the face of Joseph Woll after the Florida Panthers beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs. Go back next year, Ryan Reeves in the first meeting in Toronto tried to go after Gudas, tried to engage him in a fight. I don't think Gudas wanted it. It ended up going to Max Domi. Max Domi fought Radko Gudas last season when these two teams played each other.
And then walked him tonight.
Max Domi walked him tonight. So adding salt, I guess, to the wound in a rivalry that maybe doesn't really
runs deep.
It runs deep, but maybe not really all that
Twice
in the forefront of people's minds. But Max Domi one up on Radko Gudas probably feels even better than it does scoring that goal.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. So much patience and composure, and that line with Scott Lawton and Calle Jarnkrok set it up. A good breakout with Lawton, dishes it up to Calle Jarnkrok, who gives it over to Domi. And he's got not a lot there, but he has some patience, and he gets right into the crease. He walks himself right in there. Nice little move, a little toe drag, and then just a great finish. Not the Max Domi that we've seen before, who just head down, burying it at the net. Like, he really had some composure and some patience. So
it's either the pass or the one leg lift shot.
Yeah,
and that was
uncharacteristic.
That was different.
I really liked it. We all gasped. So a nice goal for Max Domi. But earlier in the period, Leafs got off on a perfect start, right? They basically scored, and we'll get to that. And it was the whole core four involved. Okay, here we go. Set the tone for what we were talking about in the pregame, that this could be a night where they really cook against the Ducks. But the goal's called back thanks to high stick with Mitch Marner. We joked I really wanted that assist, but he whacked it out of the air, high stick, and they did review it, and so no goal for Knives. But what if that's the one that keeps him at 99, Justin?
It could. Clock's ticking. Eventually, here it will tick. It's frustrating, but you can't really get all that upset because the Leafs maybe dodged a bullet, get 2 points in LA, and of course that's very meaningful. They got the lead in this game. You could have your cake, I guess, and eat it too. But the referee waves off the high stick. Mm-hmm. It's right in front of his face. If I could get rid of anything in terms of the minutia of replay, I think the high stick would be one, because you have no idea on replay ever. It happens bang, bang. There's no camera eye level with the crossbar. You are guessing every single time. And normally you're just taking what the referee does or the linesman calls anyway. In this instance, they didn't. It feels like last night they did.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think they deserved the goal yesterday. I think there's a better case that they deserved the goal today. Mm-hmm. And yet it's reversed. And no one really understands exactly how they're getting these goal calls. So if the referee in the blink of an instant calls it good, calls it legal, right in front, it just feels like that should stand. I get the offside thing because it's hard, and there's a lot of minutia to that, as we know. But this just feels like, just let it go. It's in the area. Let it go.
What about, and Armin, our producer, sending a note in as well. I was just thinking about, you mentioned that there's no cameras at crossbar level. What if we put some crossbar cameras?
I just don't know how they would implement that. He says it's easy. I guess it does sound easy in theory, but I don't know how they do it in practice. Do you?
That's not
Is there a camera on the crossbar?
Yeah, maybe.
Is there a level from crossbar to crossbar?
It's in the crossbar, and it's just got two little eyes that peek out and measure the ice.
Chip and puck could actually probably tell you exactly where it was.
Chip and puck.
Those chips were thrown off the shooters.
You know when you're walking on the street and there's those fellas that are surveying the land, and they have those big, you know what I'm talking about?
Those fellers surveying the land.
They have.
I don't really.
You've seen it. They're doing land surveying, and they have these large
little tripods.
Okay. And then 100 yards is his buddy with the. I know this because
I didn't know that.
They're doing this on my street right now.
To be honest, I have no idea what those people do.
Yeah, and they're surveying the height or something. I've done that. I helped my dad do this before. He's an architect, and they have this laser. There's so many people listening that know that this is so incorrect.
Okay, so laser to laser, crossbar to crossbar.
Laser. So did the puck go above the laser or not? It's not that hard.
To Armin's point, could they do it? Yes. Will they do it?
No.
Probably not.
It's not, as crucial as so many other issues that they must talk about at the GM meetings. But it's something that comes up 2 nights in a row. We're having the same discussion about high sticking.
And we have no idea. Like, even after the fact.
I think it was high sticking.
But we don't know for sure.
No,
we don't know last night. We don't know tonight.
So my only other thought on this is, why were you needing to make that like movement if you're Marner? Like, just like, that was a weird, like, it wasn't.
He does that. Like, he just takes kind of like.
He took a whack
He
at
waves
the puck.
at pucks for no reason.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, I mean, not no reason. He was trying to get it deep, but like, I guess he did. It just seems like such a low percentage play. And if you're coming from over top of your head, like, yeah, it's probably going to be a high stick.
Okay. Let's take a break. So we got to get to the out-of-town scoreboard and wrap up before a second period. But it's 1-0 lead for the Maple Leafs after 20 minutes. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Hey everyone, Adney and Verk here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Breaking news coming in from Bet36365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CR-V Sport here in Allison, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda sensing technologies, we made sure it can handle Ontario winters. But you're probably wondering, what's with the one-touch power moonroof? Well, Ontario, we hold on to the hope that one day winter will be over. Get ready for spring and adventure with the Honda CR-V Sport. Lease with rates from 1.99% for 36 months, plus get a $1,500 Honda bonus. OAC conditions apply. Made with domestic and imported parts. See HondaOntario.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Lorenz looking at the empty net as he gets to center. Drained it!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's a 1-0 lead for the Leafs after 20 minutes. Let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit ConnexOntario.ca.
As mentioned in the pregame, the Florida Panthers dropped a crucial game today, hosting the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal winning 4-2. Jets get another win, 3-1 over the Vancouver Canucks. Capitals lose uncharacteristically at home to the Buffalo Sabres. Ovechkin did score. Yeah, they are playing themselves out of a draft pick. Ovechkin scored number 890, 5 away from passing Gretzky. Almost had 2 in that game. Utah up 5-2 or win 5-2 over the Chicago Blackhawks. Penguins got an OT victory, 1-0 over the Senators. So Ottawa does get a point. Hurricanes up 6-4. Do beat the Islanders actually 6-4. And still to come tonight, Sharks and Kings from LA. So a back-to-back for the Kings as well.
A huge win by the Burlington Barracudas Senior A women's team, my team, who just played in our semifinal game, and I was unable to attend as I am here doing the most important job.
You were sweating that result.
And they won 2-1. We advanced to the finals next Sunday.
And now you
against
can put them over the top.
I know who
Do we have a
Bones
game
is
next
cheering
Sunday?
for. It's Sunday at 9:45 in the morning. We're playing the Sudbury Lady Wolves. I'm going to have to fight Bonesy between intermissions here.
I don't know. I think Bonesy might switch his allegiance to
I
a
don't
team
know.
member.
I bet he won't.
For a team
Burlington
member?
versus Sudbury? It's a big one. We are currently the defending back-to-back champs. We're looking for the three-peat. So
Okay, good luck.
that was very important news. And I know they're listening on the Allen as they drive home. Way to go, girls.
The Allen.
They're on the Allen. All right, so Domi gets a gorgeous goal. But at least, we talked about this being a night where they could really put, the pedal to the metal. Wasn't what we saw in the first
Yeah,
period.
there's still room to play better. They get the goal at the end of the period, but still room to, put a stamp on things.
All right, let's stamp it away. Jim Ralph and Joe Bowen will have the call. The second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every reaction that I have seen to the breaking news is what the hell just happened.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
The Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
There has to be more to the story. Whoa, this is out of nowhere.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality.
And to the backhand, he scores!
Every goal brings him closer to legend status. And SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best, former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scores!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not, and then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the Sirius XM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The little move that undressed Radko Gudas as well as Lucas Dostal, and it's 1-0. And an interesting stat, Max Domi had 3 goals between October and February, the end of February. He has scored 5 in the month of March. Now, John Tavares is the hottest one in the month of March. He has 13. But the Leafs are looking for secondary scoring, and that's the third line at this particular point. And Domi is helping out in that department as the Ducks get it down into the Leafs zone. Leafs defending the goal to our left as the puck comes around on the near wing, and it'll be dropped back by Marner, back of the goal. Tanev steps smartly out in front of his own net. Looks up ice, carries it to the red line. Got to the line and in, and the extra move. Austin Matthews goes, that wasn't Bobby Orr carrying it, was it? I thought he was going to shoot it in.
It's still
Chris Tanev
pretty good.
Have some explaining to do when he gets back to the bench.
Yeah, but pretty good move stepping out from behind your own net and carrying it all the way up ice.
Absolutely.
His hockey IQ is off the charts. Chris Tanev.
Oh, really is. Yep. Cleared in, a bouncing puck into the slot area. Tavares took his man down. The puck comes free along the boards. Back of the net for Nylander. Nylander working along the near wing. Protects the puck nicely. Still has it. Flip pass back to the point. Long shot deflects in on goal. And it trickled just wide on the near post as Tavares got a stick on it. Now Nylander trying to steal it back, but has cleared it in deeper into Anaheim territory. Mintyukov was able to get it out and now brought in over the line by Vetrano. He drops it off on the left wing side, and a shot is deflecting off a stick of Brandon Carlo and going way up into the crowd out of play.
I brought this up to you during the commercial break, and I find this amazing for Anaheim, a team that came in as an expansion team, obviously, and has struggled of late. They have never had a first overall pick in their history, which I find absolutely amazing. 3 second overall picks. Leo Carlson, who's playing in the game today in his sophomore season, Bobby Ryan, and go back Oleg Tverdovsky.
Wow.
In 1993.
They'll be in the lottery, but they're not going to get a real good shot at it this year. It'd be a bit of a fluke. Draw is pushed out at center ice by Toronto. Domi deflecting it in over the line. Lawton pushes it to the side of the net, but they can't get it out in front where Yarncrook was waiting, and the Ducks get it back into the Toronto zone. Leafs have it under control and come to the near side to Domi. He sends it back to the defense. Oliver Ekman-Larsson trying to play it in. Does. Yarncrook has a man going to the net, and it was Domi. He got upended and goes hard into the end boards. Looks like he's okay. Zegras is there hovering over him as Yarncrook got spilled. Domi got spilled as well. Max is up and seems to be okay. But is there a penalty here?
Yeah. Thought the arm was up in the air, and I think Domi was tripped going in and then ends up taking out his own man, Yarncrook. Yeah, Zegras pulled the feet out from under Max Domi going to the front of the net. So for Max Domi, a pretty eventful game already. He scored a goal in the first period, draws a penalty here in the second.
First power play opportunity for the Leafs. The Leafs are 5th in the NHL and riding a bit of a heater as far as the power play is concerned. The Ducks are 28th in the league. They've given up 57 goals in 212 opportunities. Leafs on the power play. At the point, Marner holds, works back towards the blue line. Dishes off over on the far side for Nylander. Top of the circles, into the slot. Matthews gets a return pass as they play catch with it. Pass back to Nylander, closing down low. Trying to get it in front for Tavares was nice, but it went off a skate. Nylander is able to keep it alive. Far half boards and working back towards the blue line. A centering pass deflects off Tavares into the near corner. Tavares getting it back on the boards, and now here's Marner working back towards the blue line. Matthews exchange, and then Marner let a shot go, hoping for a redirect in there by Nyes, who was in front of the goaltender. But Dostal is able to get a body in front of it, his body, and is able to hold on to it, which is a good thing if you're a goaltender.
Yeah, eight straight games, Anaheim has given up at least one power play goal. They've skipped 22 of 32 they've only been able to kill off.
Leafs control the face-off along the boards, blocked and shot out and down the ice now by the Ducks, and Wall will wait for Marner to come back. Marner taking his time, dropping it back to Nylander, who gets it up on the wing on the right side for Matthews. Matthews had to slow up, so things bogging down, but he gets to the line and in. Nylander on the far boards, back it goes to Marner. Into the half boards far side, Nylander around back of the net for Nyes. To Matthews. Matthews holds. Tavares open on the near boards, takes the pass. In front for Nylander and a shot. And that deflected wide of the goal. Kept in by the point by Marner to Nylander. A pass in front for Matthews. Back in front of the goal. Tavares couldn't backhand. Marner or Matthews has it again. But his pass is intercepted and brought out by Leo Carlson. He has it knocked off his stick, and the Leafs with 28 seconds left have Nylander back in over the line. Nylander along the boards for Matthews and into the corner for Tavares. Back of the net, Tavares sending it back along the boards. Nylander can't keep it in. It's going to come to center ice. This group has been out for the entire power play with a dozen seconds left. Now the second unit. Here's McMahon trying to drive in. Got it on goal. Stop the rebound in front of the goal. Oliver Ekman-Larsson had it go off a body in front of the net. Oh my, what a chance. Domi down low. Shot taken there by McMahon. Second unit getting some chances here. Penalty is expired. What a great chance Oliver Ekman-Larsson had. And he was all alone. The goaltender's without a stick, having it handed to him by Gudas. Back to the point, another shot, blockered away by Dostal, and it's on the far boards for Yarncrook. Best pressure the Leafs have had in the game. OEL down into the slot. Gives it off now for Max. Max Domi stops up at the near half boards. Back to the point, along the wall for Riley. Coming out in front, no, goes back to the net. Still with it. Riley into the near corner, trying to get away from one man, tried to center it in front. McMahon couldn't help him out, and finally it's cleared by Anaheim. Great pressure there from the second unit and the subsequent change. Leafs don't get it into the zone. And the puck turned over and shot into the Toronto end. It bounces in front of the Leaf goal. And a backhand was sent wide of the goal off McTavish's stick. At the point, kept in there by Minchikov. It goes back to the point. Minchikov looking for a return pass as a weak shot went well wide of the Leaf goal. And in the near corner, the Leafs are going to get it out into neutral ice. 14:48 to play in the second period. And the Leafs have a 1-0 lead on the Anaheim Ducks. Trying to go 3 points up on Florida. And they host the Panthers on Wednesday. Down into the corner it goes. The Leafs after it now. And here is Lorenz dropping it in along the boards. Camp muscles his way along the boards but couldn't get it out in front of the net. He had Pontus Holmberg there. And now it is shot by Gauthier back down into the Toronto end. Benoit got his man tied up, but the puck comes free, and a weak shot is gloved fairly easily there by Joseph Woll off the stick of Nikita Nesterenko, born in Brooklyn, New York. No relation to the great Eric Nesterenko of my era.
Where was Eric born? Was it in Northern Ontario?
Yeah, I believe so.
If only there was something called the internet. That's good.
No. Don't bother looking that up. It'll just confuse you, I'm sure. And besides, Nesterenko is a hard name to spell.
Yeah. Flin Flon, Ontario.
There you go. Well, back then, it was part of Ontario, and Manitoba hadn't really blossomed yet. And so, yes.
Maybe the Toronto Marlboros, too.
Yes. Yep. Starred in Youngblood, along with other notables.
Joe Woll.
Yeah, brought it on over the line by Lundstrom. He gets to the line. Great block. The puck comes in front, and it's shot on the backhand wide by Lacombe. Was that Benoit who made that play?
Yeah, it was. Sprawled and got his glove on it.
Breakout at center ice, and it's brought in by Marner. He's alone in a goal. Scores! Mitchell Marner makes it 2-0 Toronto. He got behind Lacombe, and he undresses Lucas Dostal to make it 2-0.
And this comes after the great defensive play by Simon Benoit, who sprawls and then actually gets his left glove on it and knocks it to the corner. But Mitch Marner, as always, goes to the point, reads the play, gets his stick on it. Lacombe gives it up, and then it was Radko Gudas was the closest one giving chase. And Gudas, Joe, pretty much says, okay, I'm going to let you go. And at the end, Marner looks like he's going to go backhand and then draws it back to the forehand as Dostal going down and then flips it into the empty side to give the Leafs a 2-0 lead.
Shot by Nylander was stopped by the goaltender Dostal, and it comes out at center ice. Leafs 2, Anaheim no score. And a much better second period here for the Maple Leafs to start with anyway. They scored late in the period, but now they've dominated things as it goes high into the far corner for Tavares. His pass looking in front of the net for McMahon is brought out at center ice now by the Ducks. In on the left wing boards, played into the slot area, comes back to Strome. Ryan Strome to the far side, bouncing puck in front of the net. Unable to get to it, and now Terry with a shot that went wide of the goal. Rebound to the far side. McMahon late to get there, but the Leafs get it ahead to Tavares. Tavares to the defense, and Brandon Carlo will skate it to center, giving it off to Nylander. He made a couple of moves, but turns the puck over there at the blue line, and it's cleared back to the Toronto zone as both teams are trying to change. Tanev back of the net. Got a return pass from goaltender Wall, but couldn't handle it. Gauthier works it back into the corner, and then a sharp angle shot stopped by Wall. Wraparound attempt doesn't work as it comes back to the point. Anaheim keeping the puck in and cycling it into the slot with a shot. Scores from well out. Carlson gets the goal. His 20th of the season.
And Joe, this all starts when the Leafs play the puck back into their own end. and give the puck away. I believe it was Scott Laughton that tried to throw it back to his own defenseman. The Leafs botched it and never did get the puck back. And this is just a wrist shot from the high slot through traffic. A lot of bodies in front, including Chris Tanev standing with his man Cutter Gauthier.
And it hits the goal post and goes in.
Yeah, this is the perfect shot, but if you go back further, the Leafs are in full control of the puck. And Scott Laughton tried to play it back into his own end. Leaf defense couldn't pick it up, and the Anaheim Ducks are right back in this game.
Now they're saying Gauthier may have redirected this, at least on the score sheet that we have. But it was definitely Carlson shooting it, wasn't it? Well, yeah, that's not the first time that the official scorers had to make a correction, so we'll wait. Leafs bringing it in over the line, dropping it off for Laughton. Laughton's shot went well wide of the goal. Trapped on the far side by McCabe. Got it back looking for Domi, but it's intercepted and brought back in across the line on the left wing side. A shot by McTavish. Stopped there by Wall. McTavish with the rebound to the far side with a shot. Wall down. And he's going to cover up on it and hold for a face-off. It is Carlson, his 20th. Zellweger and Gauthier will draw the assists on the goal. So the Leafs, for the 2-0 lead, it's carved in half. It's 2-1. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Visit connexontario.ca.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CRV Sport here in Allison, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda sensing technologies, we made sure it can handle Ontario winters. But you're probably wondering, what's with the one-touch power moonroof? Well, Ontario, we hold on to the hope that one day winter will be over. Get ready for spring and adventure with the Honda CRV Sport. Lease with rates from 1.99% for 36 months, plus get a $1,500 Honda bonus. OAC conditions apply. Made with domestic and imported parts. See HondaOntario.com.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists? The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Centering scores! Max Domi! My goodness!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
2-1 the score. Second period from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Leafs are able to get the puck out at center ice, but not any further. Shot in by Minchikov and back of the net. Wall playing it up on the wing, but didn't connect there with Tanev. Out is Camp, and a centering pass was blocked, and Camp has it up against the end boards, trying to get it along the boards, looking for Pontus Holmberg, but without any luck. Ducks after it again in the corner. The battle ensues. It goes around back of the goal. Now back behind the net once more. Trying to get it freed up is Troy Terry along with Strome. Ryan Strome loses it, and now Pontus Holmberg is able to skate it out at center and play it in over the line, and Lorenz will get to it at the end boards back in the zone. Got it freed up for Pontus Holmberg. Back to the point. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, a shot. That struck something in front of the net. Might have been the goal post. Brought back the other way now by Minchikov. A long shot directed wide of the goal to the near side, and Matthews is out. Matthews banking it in over the line, trying to get around the defense, but couldn't. That looked like a little bit of interference there by Jackson Lacombe, didn't it?
That looked like a lot of interference.
All right. Lacombe with it again. Got it ahead, and Carlson comes to center with a pass. That's broken up. Back the other way, just a little bit out of the reach of Marner. He might have had an odd man rush. Here's Carlson with it again. Over on the left wing side, a shot. Good save made there by Joseph Wall, and the Leafs break it out with Nye. Up on the right side for Marner into the slot area. Here's the chance. Shot taken by Riley is into the chest of Dostal and held for a face-off.
Well, Oliver Ekman-Larsson's had a couple of great opportunities tonight. That second one, that goes goalpost glove side to a screen on Dostal, but the Leafs hanging on to the lead.
So it is a 2-1 Toronto advantage. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Baseball is back, and you can hear every MLB game on SiriusXM.
He swings, it's a drive to left.
Hear your hometown announcers on the SiriusXM app.
11 strikeouts for Skeens.
And talk baseball every day with our team of former players and executives on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89.
I couldn't even sleep last night. I was so excited. I got up with goosebumps.
Get closer to the action on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
For months, I've been listening to hockey people warn the Sabres, don't move on from Dylan Cousins. This is the one you'll regret. The fact that you're trading in division is amazing to me. This guy can come back and haunt you like every Sabre does. But if I'm an Ottawa Senators fan, Jake, I'm over the moon on this trade.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. Haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking vows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. I think Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
New York Islanders are running out of runway. They lose to the Carolina Hurricanes tonight 6-4. Ottawa drops an overtime decision to Pittsburgh 1-0. So the bottom part of the Eastern Conference is starting to show. Here's a shot, kick save made there by Dostal, and is brought out at center ice by the Ducks. Left wing side for Nestorenko, a centering pass, and unable to get the stick on it was Minchikov. Leafs control and break it out at center with Nylander. Nylander, a left wing feed, is deflected in over the line by Tavares. Tavares trying to get to it around back of the net. McMahon in with a hit. Nylander with the puck, got it freed up. Now it's played back to the blue line by McMahon. Here's Tanev with a shot. That deflects wide. Nylander after it, as so is McMahon. Far side, Nylander playing it back to the blue line. Leafs are trying to change as Tavares goes to the bench. And the Ducks are back behind the net. They'll get it up on the left wing. Nestorenko gets to center, sends an alley-oop into the far corner, and that'll get a change going for Greg Cronin's team. Tim Army, Richard Clune, the former Marlboro, is one of the assistant coaches. And the Leafs get it to center ice and send it in over the line, courtesy Max Domi, but the Ducks have it under control. A pass into the neutral zone, left wing feed from Zegras, intercepted by Toronto, and Tanev will play it off to his defense partner, and played out at center ice then by McCabe, and across the line. Here's Lorenz trying to play it back to the blue line, but it's intercepted, and out at center ice come the Ducks. They'll flip it into the zone, courtesy of Olin Zellweger. Played high to center ice, bouncing puck got by one, but Lawton was running out of gas there and didn't have much in the way of getting into the forecheck after that loose puck as he now peels to the bench. The Ducks get it out at center and to the Leaf line. Toronto 2, Anaheim 1. Second period with 7:47 left in it. Errant pass broken up and a shot off the body of Benoit on a broken stick by Troy Terry, and it went harmlessly wide. Puck is now underneath the fallen Leaf defenseman.
Yeah,
and they're finally going to whistle this down as Oliver Ekman-Larsson was...
it was maybe a little bit of a slew foot there. It was Ekman-Larsson actually gave the puck away at the blue line. Morgan Riley, no, that was off the pad, right? It almost like
couple
it
of
hit
good
the goal
chances
post.
he's had, too. Yes,
Maybe it was the post, was it? That's on goal 17-13 now, favoring the Anaheim Ducks. At one point, it was 10-1 midway through the opening period. The Leafs have got to be careful. Basically, everything else.
7.5 minutes to play. Draw one by Toronto. Launched out at center ice on a bounce. Lorenz couldn't get to it. Pontus Holmberg up forechecking. David Camp will try to do likewise on the near side. He gets a piece of the puck. Now it's down into the near corner off his stick, but it is Anaheim getting it out at center ice. Troy Terry gets to the line in on the left wing. Drops it back to the left point. Try to work the line to Zellweger. A shot from the far side. Was knocked down, and then the stick was thrown aside, which is always a little concerning. But goaltender Joseph Woll likes to have a finger grip on the puck every once in a while, and did well to cover that
I
up.
think he bobbled it. I think the puck had dropped Love's side. And I think when he went to grab it, squirted to his right, and hence dropped the stick and grab it with the other hand. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, well, hey, and to be able to do that, a lot of goalies can't get rid of the stick. Now, the first to really do well with that was Dominik Hasek. He hardly had the stick in his hand at any time.
Oh, he loved it. Dropping the stick and grabbing it.
Now here's McMahon in across the line, looking for a pass in front, and the goaltender got a stick in the way of that as Nylander was driving the net. McMahon back to the point. A shot done by Tanev was deflected wide of the goal. Nylander with it back to the point. McMahon with a shot in traffic. Down is Dostal, and he is going to cover up on this as Bobby McMahon got a couple of shots away. This line has been the hottest through the month of March, as certainly John Tavares and William Nylander are going through marvelous months. Nylander one shy of his record for a month, which was 21 points. John Tavares, of course, has had 13 goals the month of March.
Tavares on a 5-game goal streak. He scored 8 in the last 5 coming in. And you know you're hot when you look at the winner he scored against Los Angeles last night. Austin Matthews rifles one off the pad right onto Tavares' stick. That's when things are going well.
Puck into the corner. Domi able to get it back to the blue line. D to D it comes to Tanev. Wrist shot in traffic. Deflected wide in front of the net. Lawton was out in front of the goal. Brought back the other way by McTavish. Got in over the line. Broke it up at the Leaf defense. Poked out at center. No. Well, yes. And now here's Lawton able to carry to the line and in with Domi. A backhand pass. Hit Lawton right in the seat of the pants. And it's brought out by Lacombe. He'll get to the Leaf line. Thinks about a drop pass. Then carries down around to the end boards. It's played back to the blue line. McTavish gets it over on the right wing side. Long shot, deflects wide, and it's played up on the wing. And Yarncrook now looking to outlet, but gets it back to his defense partner. Oliver Ekman-Larsson went down kind of at a stumbled, I guess, but he looked awkwardly trying to get back up, and I was concerned that maybe something had happened, but he seems to be all right now as the puck comes to center ice. Matthews trying to get a pass in the slot, intercepted by Lacombe. Played out at center ice to the line for Carlson. Carlson gets it down into the left wing corner. Cut off there by Marner. Marner gets it to Matthews. Matthews gets it ahead to Nyes. Nyes is able to just get it out before it's shot right back in again. Far side, Benoit chases his man. Puck comes back along the boards. Intercepted there by Matthews, who was kind of laying in wait behind the shoot-in. Off on the wing for Marner. Marner with a shot, and it's gloved. Looking for a redirect there from Matthews or Nyes. But it got through to goaltender Dostal, and he's going to hang on for a face-off coming in the Anaheim zone. The Leafs lead 2-1. 5:05 left in the second period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Breaking news coming in from Bet3.
Listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
5:05 left to play, second period. Domi and Marner have scored for the Maple Leafs. Carlson has replied for Anaheim. Nyes had a goal called back for a high stick in the first period as a shot blockered away there by Dostal. It goes into the corner. Ducks get it around back of the net to the near side. Puck comes out at center ice before it's shot right back in again. And the Ducks have to go back with Gudas trying to play it out with a pass on the left wing. Trying to get it in front. Nesterenko goes wide of the Leaf goal. Played down into the corner. Trying to outfight his man for the puck as Marner, but he can't get it out past the blue line. Kept alive on the right wing side for Jackson Lacombe. He'll get it back to the point. Long shot coming. Blocked in front of the net. Adroitly kicked by Carlo into the corner to clear the area in front. Now he'll play it around back of the net to find Morgan Riley. This tandem has been much better.
I'm going to say the more you watch Brandon Carlo, the more you start to appreciate these little things. Like he just said, boxing a man out, kicking the puck to the corner, tied his stick up.
Played down into the corner on the end boards. Carlo got it freed up for Riley. Riley gets it airmailed high into neutral ice. Will it have enough to, yes, it will go for icing. It'll come back into the Toronto zone.
You already mentioned Leo Carlson, who has the only goal, his 20th of the season here in his second year in the league. He had a 4-point night against the Rangers on Friday, a goal and 3 assists. And in his last 22 games now, 11 goals and 24 points. I think that's why there's a little bit of excitement in Anaheim.
Philip Myers and Nick Robertson, the scratches for the Maple Leafs tonight. Brett Leeson, Ross Johnston, and Jacob Trouba out for Anaheim. Trouba, of course, coming over in a much publicized deal with the Rangers mid-season. Early in the season, actually, wasn't it? Nylander playing it ahead. In across the line. McMahon forces it down and pushes it into the far corner. Nylander gets there first. Shields the puck as he gets it back to the point. Shot coming. Big rebound. And just getting a glove on top of it with Tavares hunting it down.
A little bit of a hold maybe on Tavares looking for the rebound as well. By the way, the Jacob Trouba thing is a lot of people that did the same thing to Barclay Goodrow in New York with the Rangers. It was, we're going to trade you, and if you don't accept the trade, we're going to send you down. And I will tell you, Mr. Bowen, I never fell for that one. I got sent down.
You got sent down. Yeah. Face off to the right in the Anaheim zone. 3:15 to play. 2-1 Toronto. Puck into the skates. Trying to free it up. And it comes free. And now being regrouped in the Anaheim zone. Launched to center ice into the Leaf end. Benoit off the boards to get it ahead. Domi back in for Yarncrook, who pressures his man. But apparently someone was offside because the whistle has gone to stop play. Shots 20 for the Ducks. They had 11 in the first period. 17 for the Maple Leafs, so they have 11 in this period. They had 6 in the first. All of the scoring has been late. 1934, 24 of the first period. Domi scoring from Yarncrook and Lawton. And Marner scoring at 6:29 of the second period unassisted. Leafs are going to flip it high into neutral ice. Knocked down by the glove there of Zegras. Leafs get to it, and then it's going to be shot down into the zone by Scotty Lawton. Lawton heading to the bench. The Leafs have got the fourth line coming over the boards, and David Camp Brought to the line and in on the left wing for Trevor Zegras. Played around back of the Toronto goal. Forced up on the wing for Camp. He has some room and he'll get it out at center. It's chipped but not onto the stick of the Leaf winger until it's played back and Morgan Riley leads the rush. In across the line, near side now. Here's Lorenz holding it off on the point. Gets it along the boards for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg trying to free it up, still with it. Backed into the slot area. Camp to the left defense. Wrist shot coming in traffic, and it was kicked away by Dostal, and around back of the net it goes. Minute 57 left to play in the period. Carlo bumps into his man. Here's Marner in on goal. Marner with a shot, and it went over top of the goal. May have grazed the crossbar. Marner trying to get free and is knocked down after being held back of the net, and no call. Played down, and a bounce into the Toronto zone will not be icing. Tanev, a quick up through center. Here's Marner in across the line. Matthews rolls it to the side of the goal. Nyes got there, and the glove of Dostal was on top of it, and I think Mitch Marner's got a case if he wants to plead it.
Oh boy, what a move he makes just outside the Anaheim blue line. Beats one man, that was Zellweger, and cut between both defensemen and took it right to the net.
And off the crossbar, it goes over top.
Yeah, he did have the option of Holmberg on the left wing side.
1:27 left to play in the period. Draw scrum, the Leafs come away with it. Matthews unable to keep it in. It comes out into the center ice area. Jake McCabe sends a long alley-oop into the far corner. Leafs in pursuit. Nyes trying to get it away from Gudas. Gudas against the boards, gave it away. Nyes trying a little toe drag move. Couldn't get it out in front. And it's shot down into the Toronto end. McCabe looking back up ice, had it blocked, but Tanev is there to free it up for him again. And now the pass gets ahead at center, and the Maple Leafs will play it up on the right wing, and Tanev in across the line, dropping for Marner into the slot area. Matthews goes to the left wing side, a shot. Oliver Ekman-Larsson had it blocked. Comes in front, another shot stopped. Penalty coming here against Anaheim. And against the boards now. Trying to free it up is Oliver Ekman-Larsson to eat up a little more clock. The intermission is going to dissect this. 38 seconds remain in the period. And was Tanev in? Yeah, he was taken down by Gudas. And that is going to be the penalty.
Boy, Oliver.
Seven's got a minor penalty for holding.
Well, Austin Matthews, wow, very nearly.
Got cut there as a skate came up, yes. He seems to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the head snap. I didn't know whether he was dodging a high stick, but it was a skate that came up. But Gudas goes to the penalty box here. 38 seconds to go in the second period. Second power play for the Leafs. And for those scoring, that evens it up.
At the point, Matthews doesn't shoot it. It goes back to Marner. Marner looking in front, still with it, stretching things out. Cross ice for Willie, in front for Tavares, and he wired it over top of the goal. The puck comes around the boards to the near side, and it's going to be shot down the ice, and the Leafs will be hard-pressed to get another rush in with 18 seconds left. And now 16 as Nylander takes the puck from behind the net. Willie gets it up on the left wing. Marner trying to get in over the line, had it knocked away. Matthews takes it back. Now he's got to wait for Nylander, and that will ruin the rest of the time. And we'll go to the intermission with the Leafs having a power play to continue when they come back to start the third. But they have taken a lead. They had a 2-0 advantage. Carlson cutting into it after Domi and Marner had scored. One in the first, Domi's 8th of the season, Marner's 23rd coming in the second period.
Let's see if the Leafs can get back on that roll, protecting the lead into the third. It's the first time on this trip they haven't trailed going into the third period.
We'll step aside as we have Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert standing by. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every reaction that I have seen to the breaking news is what the hell just happened.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
The Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach
Taylor Jenkins.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
There has to be more to the story. Whoa, this is out of nowhere.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status. And SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best. Former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scored!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
For months, I've been listening to hockey people warn the Sabres, don't move on from Dylan Cousins. This is the one you'll regret. The fact that you're trading in division is amazing to me. This guy can come back and haunt you like every Sabre does. But if I'm an Ottawa Senators fan, Jake, I'm over the moon on this trade.
Point with Boomer Gordon, 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. He played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the Sirius XM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Thrall has got his glove
Now
on.
break out at center ice, and it's brought in by Marner. He's alone in a goal. Scores! Mitchell Marner makes it 2-0 Toronto.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It is 2-1 for Toronto after 40 minutes, and that was Bonesy's call of a pretty beautiful Mitch Marner breakaway goal. He had 2 opportunities in that period, but he gets one. 5th now in the NHL with 91 points. He's getting there. 100 just around the corner, but it was a gorgeous goal.
Yeah, it was.
2 nice goals for the Leafs.
Yeah, definitely. Mitch Marner definitely the most dangerous Leaf, I think, through 40 minutes. He's been the catalyst offensively. Got a second breakaway in the second period, kind of flipped it off the bar and, flung his head back in some frustration, given that he had beat the goaltender pretty cleanly again. But yeah, you mentioned it. Great move. The move's so subtle in that I think that the brilliance is in the subtlety.
Yes.
I barely know exactly what he did.
He does a tiny little... one stick handle.
And it's,
the
Dostal's flying out of the crease
flailing
in response to that move. So, yeah, a talented offensive player, definitely, showing off his stuff, putting the Leafs up 2-0. But the most talented offensive player for the Anaheim Ducks, and Leo Carlsson answers with a bit of a milestone goal, his 20th of the season. Kind of a seeing eye shot through traffic after Scott Lawton kind of coughed one up in the defensive zone.
Poor guy.
Assist on the first goal, but he giveth and he taketh a little bit.
The Scott Lawton experience so far.
And that's kind of been the experience still with the second, the bottom six and the top six. Top six kind of dominating, at least some shots, and you look at the bottom six, and it just hasn't been anything other than the Domi goal. Just hasn't been anything in terms of consistent push on their heels. The Leafs are when the bottom six is out there.
And I don't know what tweaks I would make to fix that. Like maybe a Nick Robertson, but it's the same conversation we have when we're trying to figure out how to make this a bit more of a cohesive lineup. When that top six is going, you don't want to mess with that. And bottom six feels like it takes a little bit of a hit in response, but. Yeah, I don't know. This is what we have to figure out over the next 9 days or next 9 games if you're the Maple Leafs is how to get everybody in their role contributing and not have it be one night's top six, one night's bottom six. Like, how do you get all of them going?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the question, aside from actually mixing up the top six units, which, again, you wouldn't do at this point because what they've found has been so good. I mean, as part of the knock on John Tavares has been that it hasn't worked all the time with William Nylander, but with Bobby McMahon, it's been really, really good.
I would feel nervous if we started messing with the top six.
Yeah.
No.
And there's actually no excuse to, because you have enough in terms of personnel to put something that works together in the bottom six. Like you mentioned, Nick Robertson's an NHL player. He's on the outside looking in. Scott Lawton, Calle Ehrencroke, these are talented guys. Max Domi. All three of those guys have scored at a reasonable secondary level in the NHL in their careers. And we know there's utility between David Camp, Pontus Holmberg, and Steven Lawrence. Is that the formation that works? Is that what makes this group optimized? I'm just not really sure. I don't think Craig Berube is sure either.
One thing that we saw on the replay here nearing the end of that period. So there's a penalty for the Ducks. It's Radko Gudas. Surprise.
He's involved.
Your
once
captain. Leafs get a power play. They got a little bit of it there at the end of the second, but to start the third, they'll start on the power play and it'll be a good chance to extend the lead. But Matthews, literally, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, almost lost his eye with a skate. You don't agree?
Slightly hyperbolic.
That skate hit his visor where his eyes are.
Oh, did it hit his visor?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that
look
hit
it up.
I thought it would just kind of
It was intense.
Yeah, that's scary.
And it was like a slow motion falling, just the guy topples over and his legs are flailing and it almost hits Matthews in the face.
The scariest play in hockey is not like the slap shot near the head, near the body.
It's a slow falling skate near your face.
It's a guy falling and having that cartwheeling action with the one leg while he tumbles to the ground.
Ugh.
That is the most dangerous play in hockey. And it still kind of boggles my mind that it's not more of an issue in this game.
Yeah, it freaked me out. I'm watching the replay and I don't know.
Nick the visor. I didn't see it nick the visor.
No, we'll look deeper in get my magnifying glass.
I'm not saying it didn't. I just didn't realize.
It was too close for comfort. How about that?
It was too close for comfort.
And this game might be too close for comfort still. 2-1
I would say
lead.
so. Yeah.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll get you set with the out-of-town scoreboard and wrap up before the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey everyone, Adney and Verk here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch this movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Breaking news coming in from Bet3.
You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CR-V Sport here in Allison, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda sensing technologies, we made sure it can handle Ontario winters. But you're probably wondering, what's with the one-touch power moonroof? Well, Ontario, we hold on to the hope that one day winter will be over. Get ready for spring and adventure with the Honda CR-V Sport. Lease with rates from 1.99% for 36 months, plus get a $1,500 Honda bonus. OAC conditions apply. Made with domestic and imported parts. See HondaOntario.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
What a brilliant move by Willie Nylander, and we have a tie game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's a 2-1 lead after 40 minutes after two gorgeous goals from Domi and Marner and Carlson for the Ducks. Well, just pretty goals all over tonight. No ugly goals.
You're doing hyperbole again on Leo Carlson.
I thought it was a nice goal.
It was all right.
I don't think he meant to score from the point through 17 people, but it went in.
So that it's not a nice goal then.
I thought it was a nice goal.
If it's not intentional.
I would have said nice goal to him if I was on the bench. Nice goal.
Okay.
All right, fine. Hideous goal by Leo Carlson.
Fortunate goal for Leo
Let's
Carlson.
take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit ConnexOntario.ca.
6 finals from earlier today. A couple matinees in the NHL on a Sunday. Why not? The Canadiens beat the Panthers 4-2. That's a big result for the Toronto Maple Leafs and for the Montreal Canadiens. The Jets got a 3-1 victory over the Vancouver Canucks. Sabres beat up on the Capitals 8-5, but Ovi scored 890 and is now 5 away from passing Wayne Gretzky. Utah got a 5-2 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks. Penguins 1-0 in overtime over the Ottawa Senators. Not exactly a barn burner. 6-4, the Hurricanes beat the Islanders, and still to come tonight, the Sharks will visit the LA Kings.
We do kind of have our Frozen Four for the men's. Should we share that?
Sure, give it to us.
Well, this shocking defeat of
Are you a big Frozen
Boston,
Four guy?
You know, I am. Boston College losing in the Frozen and to get to the Frozen Four, and they're like the presumptive number 1 seed of all time. Penn State will make it through. Who are the other two? Penn State, not BC, so it'll be
Denver and Western Michigan, I believe.
Western Michigan. It would be it's a very surprising Final Four.
And a big potential boon here, this is for the Washington Capitals, who could maybe get Ryan Leonard, who looks like
they'll be in there in a minute.
The new young blood. He should be with the Washington Capitals sooner than later. So, like, not a trade deadline addition, but a trade deadline like boost for the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, who maybe need it after losing 8-5 today to the Buffalo Sabres, who don't lose anymore.
That's true. And your newest Maple Leaf, a Dartmouth College Big Green alum. As you know, I've spoken about him for the last week. Scored today with the Marlies, Luke Hames. So he's working his way up to the big leagues.
There you go. Maybe there's a...
No, maybe next year.
Not a playoff addition to this team either? They don't need it. They're still sorting out their forwards.
I got to get to a Marlies game, actually, to see him.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough about us. Joe Bone and Jim Ralph have the call of the third period next. It's 2-1 Maple Leafs after 40 minutes. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
The men's Final Four is set as Auburn and Houston punch their tickets to San Antonio, joining Duke and Florida. Sirius XM College Sports Radio breaking down the Elite 8 results and analyzing the women's regional finals on your home for hoops, Sirius XM Channel 84 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status. And SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best. Former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin score!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite team.
Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs carry a 2-1 lead into the third period in Anaheim, and this period brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca.
Well, would you believe that the Anaheim Ducks, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Columbus Blue Jackets share a league lead in one category, and that's third period comebacks. Not trailing into the third, but trailing in the third and coming back to win. The Leafs had their 8th comeback win against the Los Angeles Kings Saturday, and Anaheim did the same thing to the New York Rangers Friday night.
Leafs to the right and Ducks to the left. We're ready to go. Well, we were. Now the puck is dropped and we're underway. Leafs are on the power play to start the third period as it's poked up on the wing, and Nye's dropping it back for Marner. He'll get to center. He's going to shoot it in this time. When's the last time you've seen the Leafs shoot the puck in on the power play? And it didn't work either. A shot right back down the ice.
That might be the last time we see him shoot it in on the power play.
I just answered my own question.
No, but I mean, that could be the last.
Yes. Brought on now by Marner to the line. In on the right side for Tavares. He gets around back of the net to the near boards. Nylander punching it around the wall, but it's cut off back of the goal. And now the Ducks trying to get out, and they run into a traffic jam. Hellison loses it. Nylander back for Tavares, and he just missed it. He had an empty net. Here are the Leafs with it again. Back of the net, Tavares getting it back to the blue line to Marner. Middle of the ice, onto the right wing side for Matthews. Back to Marner. Marner holds, looks again to that side. Now to Matthews, in front for Tavares. Back to Marner, shot. That went wide of the goal. Nylander on the near wall, bringing it back. Kept in by Marner at the blue line into the slot area. Back to Nylander. Now to Nye. Backhand try. Stop. Rebound. Hit the goalpost. Matthews strikes the iron. But now 3 Ducks come to center against Morgan Riley. And there's going to be a penalty, and there may be a penalty shot. No penalty for tripping against the Leafs, and it may be Matthews going to the bench.
Yeah, Riley was the one that sprawled and threw his stick out. So they were able to get Morgan Riley on, but boy, that was after.
Number 44, 2 minutes tripping.
Yeah, it is Riley. That's after Tavares missed what looked to be an empty net opportunity and a pass by Willie Nylander. And then Austin Matthews on a rebound off of Matthew Nye's backhand hits the goalpost. So how quickly things turn.
Leafs on the penalty kill. Third time in the game. Back to the point it comes. Sent into the side on the far side, looking for a man in front. And it's Colangelo. It deflects wide, and the Leafs are going to get it out at center ice, forcing Lacombe back into neutral ice. Up on the wing it goes for Leo Carlson across the line. Carlson going into the slot. The puck is knocked into the corner. Unable to get to it. The Leafs. It comes around to the far side, and it'll be brought back on the bank by Colangelo to the point. The one-timer stopped by Wall. That may have taken a bite out of him. Back to the point it goes to Lacombe over on the left wing side. Cross-ice pass, partially deflects but not out. Kept alive on the near boards. Leafs get a couple of players there but can't get it out. Lacombe, left wing side, shooting off the post. They score to tie the game. Colangelo in front of the net.
For Colangelo, that's number 7 on the year, second power play goal. As the Leafs had 2 forwards caught on the left wing side, trying to get the puck out. Pardon me, not 2 forwards, 2 players, and then David Kampf was left in the middle. Puck comes over to the other wing, taken to the net. The first shot goes off the post on a redirection. Jake McCabe cannot get Colangelo's stick on the rebound. And the second opportunity, and Joseph Wall just, once the initial shot beat him, I think Wall thought it was in, Joe, because he didn't make an attempt to get back to the far post. And the Ducks, who are down 2-0, have come back to tie this game at 2.
Played back of the net then by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and up on the wing. The Leafs don't get it out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson leaves it there. And now back of the net, it'll come to Benoit, and he'll skate up on the left wing boards. At center, he shoots it in. Around the wall, it'll go to the far side. Kept in there by Toronto. Minchikov was able to free it up. And the Ducks get it to the line, but it is Domi stealing it back. Tried to slash it over there to Lawton. That didn't work. And now the Ducks will shoot the puck with Terry getting it down into the Toronto end. 2-2 tie. Brought out by Morgan Riley. Matthews will send it into the zone. Zegras and Lacombe getting the assists on Colangelo's goal, and Matthews trying to come out, slipped it high, and it may have gone off the shoulder of Dostal, and now here are the Ducks bringing it right back through center ice. To the line, Gauthier and Zellweger get in. Zellweger centering into the goal crease. That's knocked away. The centering pass went right through the blue paint. Leafs don't get it out. Long shot blocked in front by Riley. Pushed ahead for Nyes, but he can't control it. And the Ducks get to it. Nyes crumples his man. That's going to bring about a bit of a fight in front of the Leaf bench. Lundestrom is in there with Gudas.
I don't think there was a call on the hit by Nyes, so it'll be interesting to see with the whistle going if...
who's Nyes got a hold of? That is Nesterenko, yes.
He was behind the play.
It will be interesting to see if there are penalties here.
Looks like they're both, you would think they're both going to go if Nyes goes. Boy, just one penalty? I mean, this was shoulder to shoulder. We don't know as of yet whether it's going to be 4-on-4 or the Leafs are going right back to the penalty kill. But after the hit, this is a clean hit.
It's a clean hit. And then Nesterenko comes in, and Nyes gets him bent over backwards on the bench. And it's Nyes who's getting the lone penalty. Wow. So the Ducks, who scored on the power play, are right back to it. They get it down into the corner. 4th power play of the game for Anaheim. Played off the boards and back to the blue line. Swept back in by McTavish. Sent around to the far side. Carlson lets it go to the point. Gets a return pass. Sent down into the corner. Colangelo back to the point. Wrist shot coming. Blocked in front. Marner spins it out and down the ice. Penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Up your game. Lease the CRV Sport from 1.99% up to 36 months. Visit OntarioHonda.com.
We don't know what the call is. It's coming up as just a minor penalty on the NHL sheet.
Cross the line, McTavish gets it back to the point. Lacombe back to McTavish near half boards. McTavish into the corner. Around the boards, it'll find Colangelo at the left point. He gets it back into the slot area. Carlson can't shoot it. Back to the point, just kept in. Near side. They're moving around on the perimeter, but nothing going to the net as yet. And now a pass back finds Lacombe. Lacombe to the near side. Unable to shoot it, McTavish. Drops it back for Lacombe. Mirrored there by David Camp. Camp forces his man back, but it comes back to the blue line. Down the boards comes Lundestrom. Back into the slot area again. Lacombe holding it. Now McTavish to the one-timer off the post. First good try, and it comes off the goal post. Lacombe with it again. Back to the point. Not shooting it. It goes to the left wing side. Thrown back into the slot area. One-timer here was going wide, but it's gloved by Wall. And he'll get a much-needed change of penalty killers. 14 seconds left in this. And I would suggest the officials owe the Leafs one after that call.
Boy, roughing being the call. So what they're going to call it on is the hit was fine, right? Then Nesterenko comes in to grab Nyes, and Nyes grabs Nesterenko and pushes him over the boards and gets the only penalty on it. Am I correct in assuming that's what the referee's done?
I think that's what you have ascertained, and I would agree with you. Puck kept in by Anaheim off the draw. Near boards, Ryan Strome to the left wing side. A shot that deflected and has gone up into the screen and out of play. Just a second remaining in the penalty, and Nyes will be escaping, and I'm sure there is some quiet talk going on in the defensive zone for the Leafs that win the draw. And let's get a good look up the boards.
I think it looks like it's going to be Matthews and Marner on the ice. So Nyes coming out of the box, so get that line out full strength.
14-18 to go, third period. The game tied 2-2.
Boy, the opportunities the Leafs had on the power play when it was 2-1.
Draw one by the Ducks. They get it down into the corner. Strome into the slot. That was blocked. Nyes back in the defensive zone. Gets it out at center. Gets a return pass. Muscles his way in over the line. Drops it back for Tavares. And he snapped it wide of the goal. And it's caromed up into the screen and out of play. Interesting line combination. I think Tavares was out there in case Matthews got waved out of the face-off circle.
Tavares will stay out there with line mates Nylander and McMahon.
That went off the goal post too, I think, and up into the screen. The Leafs have hit about 3 crossbars here this evening.
Matthews with a post earlier on the power play.
2-2. 6 minutes into the third period. Played in front of the net, deflected there by McMahon, but easily pushed into the corner by Dostal, and now the puck in the Anaheim zone is pushed into the far corner. Ellison plays it around the boards. Riley was trying to pinch to keep it in, but it's poked back down into the Toronto end. Here are the Ducks getting possession of it. They circle and cycle the puck on the near wing with a shot, and that is swallowed up off Jansen Harkin's stick. And a face-off coming in the Toronto zone.
Anaheim's shooting from everywhere now, aren't they?
22 shots for the Ducks, 21 for the Maple Leafs. We are tied at 2s, and you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every reaction that I have seen to the breaking news is what the hell just happened.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
The Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
There has to be more to the story. Whoa, this is out of nowhere.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach.
Live sports talk when you need it is on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status, and SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best, former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scores!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Huge game awaits the Maple Leafs when they return home Wednesday night. We'll have it for you right here on The Fan. 7 o'clock start from Scotiabank Arena in an enormous 2 points laying on the line between the Leafs and the Florida Panthers.
One of the rare times, though, that Florida will play, the Leafs get a team that played in Montreal or Ottawa the night before.
Draw scrum, and good that the Leafs are going to get at least an extra day to kind of compensate for being on the West Coast, although if they'd just kept their clocks on Eastern time, it's been pretty much the same way. 8 o'clock start Eastern time here for Toronto. Leafs get the puck down in the zone with a shot, and that's gloved by Dostal and held as Bobby McMahon got it away.
Well, the one I know we've talked about lost points. The teams near the bottom of the league. I think the harmful thing from a Leafs standpoint is you had a 2-0 lead on San Jose and lost at home. You had a 2-0 lead in Nashville and lost that game in regulation as well. And now you've had a 2-0 lead here in Anaheim, and that's disappeared.
Face off to the left in the Anaheim zone. Domi lost the draw, flipped high in the air. It's going to bounce out at center and scooped by Colangelo in over the line. And Domi is able to play it right back into the offensive zone, but it's going to go the length of the ice and turn into an icing.
Hey, one thing, Anaheim's gone away with a lot of these little interference calls. Right? Remember we saw it on second period. Was it Yarncroc trying to get down the boards? Matthews, the same thing. Got the defense, been able to run interference to keep them from getting to the puck first, and this time it turns out to be an icing as Yarncroc was trying to get into the zone.
Domi will lean in against Cutter Gauthier, and the draw is scrummed, but the Leafs poke it out and get to center ice, but a flip by Lawton didn't get in deep. Here the Ducks playing it through center, off a stick and down in on goal, and scooped around back of the net. The Leafs will get it up on the wing for Scotty Lawton, and he hands it off to Domi. Domi to center, but doesn't get it in deep. Trying to play it back now and brought to the line by Killorn. He turns it over, and the Leafs breaking out at center ice. Yarncroc hustling into the play as Lawton with a pass in, and Lawton deflected it on goal, but Dostal made a great save. Puck around back of the net in the Anaheim end. Yarncroc going to the bench.
The route Lawton took, though, was he was cutting towards the goaltender instead of staying wide.
Brought back up at center ice now by Troy Terry. He'll shoot it in wide of the Leaf goal into the near corner and collects it himself. Got it into the slot, and a wrist shot comes. That's blocked. Where's the puck? It's still free. Oh, and it was kicked free by Wall, and that was rather fortuitous because the Anaheim player looked like he was right there going to tuck it into the net. Leafs get it up on the boards, but not out initially. Played right back down into the corner. Oliver Ekman-Larsson to his defense partner and getting it returned. He'll have to hustle into the near corner, but has time and space and finds Marner, who comes through center on a pass, redirected in by Nyes. In goes Marner to play it around back of the net to the far side. Tavares unable to get to it, but Nyes breaks it in front. Marner with it. Tavares with it now to McCabe. McCabe plays it to himself off the corner boards. Sends it around to the near side. He had two people in front, no one home. And now breaking back the other way is Lacombe. He's going to drop it back into the slot area. No shot. It comes off the stick of Zegras. Now a shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Matthews wasn't on that line, so some juggling going on here maybe as it is played down the ice, and icing call coming against Toronto. Tavares will remain out there. Nylander now has joined him, so maybe it was just a mix-up at the lines getting together. But yeah, if Lawton goes wide, he probably has a chance to get that up and over.
Boy, the Leafs dodge a bullet at the other end. Shot through traffic, deflects, goes off the blocker arm of Wall and drops behind him.
Tavares was tripped, but no call. At least I don't see one. And it is shot in now by Nylander into the corner. Played around the boards to the near side. Killorn will get it out at center ice. Carlson trying to get in over the line was knocked down. The puck in the center ice area. Shot in on a delayed offside. And the Leafs have it under control in their own zone. Riley up ahead for David Camp. Camp gets to the line and gets it in deep. He'll go in after it along the boards along with Bobby McMahon is out there with Nylander. So I don't know if Matthews is missing or not. Now here's the chance for the Ducks with a shot. That went wide of the goal. Rebound near side. Gauthier at the point, a shot in traffic stopped by Wall, and he has a hold of it and has stopped play. We haven't had a shot of the Leaf bench, but Austin Matthews seems to have missed a shift.
I think he got caught out in a late change.
Okay.
And Tavares was the only one that was able to get on with Knies and Marner. I think he's fine.
2-2 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking down. We take pride in
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Are you checking your bracket during the commercial break like the rest of us? Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us. So why not make it official? Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a live game. We're on a mission to hit 100,000 insiders, and you can help us grow this amazing community of sports fans making a difference. Join the conversation, keep it classy, and we'll see you in the chat. Good luck to your team and your bracket. 2-2 tie. Puck goes around back of the Toronto goal. Tanev got it ahead. Deflects high to the line, but not out. Yes, it was, but doesn't matter. It was a glove pass. Initiated by the Ducks, and so the faceoff will come out into the neutral zone. The shots favoring Anaheim now, 26-21.
One thing that might come into play when you've got Florida Tampa, the Leafs all vying for top spotter, home ice advantage in the first round, is regulation wins. And the Leafs are one back of Tampa in regulation wins and have one more than Florida.
Puck shot down into the Toronto zone, played into the corner. Tanev gets it ahead. Bouncing puck that Domi couldn't come up with. And the Ducks have it back in their own zone. Long left wing feed. Played past Tanev into the zone. McCabe gets there first. Reverses it for Tanev, who got it up on the wing, but it was intercepted. And then a bad pass by Yarncrook maintains possession for Anaheim. Into the far corner. Yarncrook chases his man. Tanev takes his man to the boards. Yarncrook gets it up on the boards, and now Scott Lawton will play it off on the left wing for Jake McCabe as the Leafs are changing. Brought through center ice and in over the line. Pontus Holmberg into the forecheck. Back of the net is Lorenz. Lorenz playing it into the corner. Bank pass comes back to the point. Here's Benoit shooting it off a leg and went wide. Leafs can't center. Still with it on the near half-board, so is Holmberg. Holmberg around back of the net. Freed it up for Camp, who gets it back to the point. Benoit back in for David Camp. Camp at the left point, trying to send it in front. They score! Oh, my! A deflection in front. It might have been Lorenz. But a weak little wrist shot taken by David Camp is deflected past the goalkeeper. It's 3-2 Toronto.
What a great shift by the fourth line. Getting the puck deep, winning the board battles. And I don't know if a penalty was going to be called when Holmberg was taken down in the slot. But yeah, this is Steven Lorentz is about 5 feet to the right of the Anaheim goal, and the puck is right at him. And somehow he redirects this midair short side on Dostal. And the Leafs have retaken the lead with 8:25 to go. Lorentz's last goal was a game winner shorthanded against Colorado.
So Steven Lorentz gives the Leafs the lead, his 7th of the season. And David Camp gets 1 assist as it's back down, and Matthews now trying to dig it along the boards with Nyes. Marner playing it back to the point. Knocked down in front was Matthews, but the puck comes back. Riley, a shot stop. Here's Nyes trying to center, and it goes into the corner. He'll get it back to the point, and a drive coming, and it's blockered away by Dostal. And now into the corner. The Leafs unable to get to it, and it's played out at center ice. Good zone time by the fourth line, and now the first line trying to follow up on it. Played around the boards by Jackson Lacombe. Out at center ice, Marner steals it back, and Chris Tanev will stretch things out as Anaheim's trying to get a change going as well. 1-goal lead for the Maple Leafs with 7:25 to go. Down into the near corner goes Tavares, kicking it along the boards, still has it in his skates, then had it knocked away. Nylander comes away out of the corner with it, tried to flip it in front, didn't reach McMahon. Tavares trying to keep it in, but the Ducks get it out at center ice. Colangelo in on the right side, and sprawling to block that. A good play by the Leaf defender.
Boy, Jake McCabe was interfered with there and wanted a penalty.
Played back out at center ice on the right wing. Colangelo taken to the boards efficiently. The puck comes free. Centering pass. Deflects wide of the Leaf goal on the far side. It's centered again. And the Leafs have it now and just getting it out in neutral ice. Ellison goes back into his own zone. .6:29 left to play in the third period. Troy Terry to center. Got it in on the left wing. Ryan Strome couldn't come up with it. Terry is down.
Yeah, he ran into his own man, Vetrano, just inside the Leaf line. I don't know if that was head-to-head.
He's doubled over as he heads to the bench.
I'm pretty sure this was just a collision with his own man. I don't think we've got a penalty or anything coming up here. Just McTavish interference on Jake McCabe before that.
Good pass in front of the net that Zegras couldn't finish up. Wow, that was right at the blue line, and you got caught in the trolley tracks with Vetrano. And Terry ended up getting hurt, and a stoppage of play, and Terry's going to the dressing room. Face off outside the Toronto blue line. 6:18 to play, and the Leafs win the draw. Benoit to center, got it in over the line, but it is poked right back out into neutral ice, stolen back by the Maple Leafs. And Domi is able to get it to the line, and now backhands in deep. Ducks with it, banking it off the near boards and getting it out. Strome to his defenseman as it comes to the line and in. Hustling in there after it. It goes back to the point, kept in on a wrist shot by Zellweger, went high and wide of the goal. Far side for Strome, back into the slot area to the point. Kept alive there, trying to work down the boards was Shillington. He got it around back of the net, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson is hooked and taken down. No arm up from I can see. No penalty. Or is there? Wait a minute, I think there's a stoppage of play.
Well, might be icing. No, I don't think it is.
Not,
they're just going at icing.
Wow.
Craig Berube is saying, you know, what you said earlier, you owe us. How is that any different than Willie Nylander's holding penalty earlier?
Vetrano dragging down Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and the Leafs, instead of going to the power play, have an important face-off in their own end. And everybody on the ice has been there for over a minute. The puck comes to the line, just kept in. Played into the corner now. Here are the Ducks trying to center, but Domi intercepts. He'll get it ahead. The Leafs playing it back off the boards to center ice. And now to the open wing. And Domi will just play it down, or at least Yarncrook will play it down into the offensive zone, and a change made. 5:10 to go. 4-2 are the penalties, as the Ducks have had 4 power plays, the Leafs just 2, and that one should have been called. Point shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal, and Karam's all the way out at center ice. Under 5 minutes to play. Leafs 3, Anaheim 2. Leafs trying to take 5 of 6 points on this Western Pacific road trip. Played down into the Anaheim zone. Punched around the boards by the goaltender. It comes to center. Then a pass intercepted. Alex Killorn sends it down, and an icing call coming against Anaheim with 4:34 to go in the third period. Back into the zone. And what a horrible non-call that was.
Well, especially like we said, if the standard was Nyes for roughing, if it was Nylander for holding, you say that's fine. But now you're going to let a couple of interference penalties and holding penalties go late here. It's almost as if Leafs should apologize for the hockey gods for getting that call in Los Angeles last night.
Yeah, this may be the worst.
Even up
from thing to come. Yeah, the Leafs win the faceoff, and a shot deflects, and it goes into the far corner. Kept in by Tanev around back of the net. Trying to wrap it around was Matthews. He got high stick there behind the net, but no call. Matthews has it back of the net now for Nyes. Nyes shields it. Nyes reverses his field twice. Still has it. Still coming with it. Now trying to work out in front of the net with a pass, and Matthews just failed to make contact. Great effort. Then a shot by Marner deflects wide of the goal. What a great effort by Nyes back of the goal, but he's a tired lad as he gets back into the Leaf zone. Played into the far corner. Nyes will come up with it. Plays it off the glass high to center ice. And it'll be forced back as the Leafs get a change going. Anaheim in over the line with Zegras. Down into the corner. 3:44 left to play in the third period. Leafs leading by a goal. Anaheim trying to work it back to the point. Fan on a pass. Set around to open corner on the far wing. Domi trying to get it away from Jackson Lacombe. Comes back off the point, though. Down low, a centering pass didn't work. Back to the point, near side. Played off on the wing by Gudas, and then a wrist shot taken from a stiff angle by Trevor Zegras is handled easily by Wall. But Steven Lorenz has the Leafs out in front with 3 minutes and 20 seconds to play here in period number 3. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are going to the Sweet 16.
Hear every game of the men's and women's NCAA tournament on Sirius XM. Listen to Westwood One's coverage on your radios and on the Sirius XM app so you don't miss an upset or a buzzer beater.
3 for the win. It's good. It's good. It's good.
To find game channels, go to SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage on the Sirius XM app.
They lead wire to wire. A thrilling finish.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
For months, I've been listening to hockey people warn the Sabres. Don't move on from Dylan Cousins. This is the one you'll regret. The fact that you're trading in division is amazing to me. This guy can come back and haunt you like every Sabre does. But if I'm an Ottawa Senators fan, Jake, I'm over the moon on this trade.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the Sirius XM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The Leafs Radio Network.
The third and fourth lines have contributed to the scoreboard. Domi from Yarncrook and Lawton, and Lorenz from David Camp and Benoit. And the Maple Leafs have a 3-2 lead in the third period. 3:14 left to go in the frame. Puck is in against the inboards back of the Toronto goal. McCabe has got it wedged up there with his skate. Now it finally comes free, but it's right back, and McCabe's got it again, and the puck now played back to the blue line. Anaheim still with their goaltender in. Down the boards it comes now for Zellweger. Got it down in around back of the net. The Leafs free it up. Nice play by Tavares to get it out at center, and tried to get it ahead there for Bobby McMahon, who I thought was interfered with, but apparently not.
John Tavares has got to skate that to center. This point of the game, 2:44 to go. Instead, you got to face off back into your own zone, and these guys have all been on for almost a minute.
2:44, and so far no indication on our television screen of an extra attacker coming over the boards for Anaheim. Now they do. They got 6 out there, don't they? Yep.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6. Draw one by Anaheim. Back to the blue line it comes. With it is Lacombe with a wrist shot in traffic, and that went wide. Rebound around on the far side. Nylander unable to get to it. Played around back of the net. Here are the Ducks trying to work it off the boards back to the blue line, and they do. Over on the left wing side, and a wrist shot is blocked in front of the net by Tanev. It comes back behind the goal into the near corner. Leafs trying to get to the loose puck. Still there. Tanev gets it airmailed. It's a high stick. Knocking that puck down, speaking of high sticks.
What a huge break for the Leafs this is.
If he leaves that alone, his defenseman keeps it in at the blue line.
Yeah, probably. But it was just sort of a reaction by Killorn to seize the puck. Much like Austin Matthews did in Los Angeles last night in the third period.
Easy. And what Nyes did. But the goal was called back for a high stick in the first period.
So face off outside the Leafs zone.
And a change of players. 2:13. Leafs win the draw. Played over on the right wing side. Punched ahead. Marner got it to the blue line, but the Ducks come up with it and play it off on the near wing and launch it high over top of the Leaf goal into the corner. Marner got it around back of the net. Got it back again. Now he just needs to get it out, and he alley-oops it ahead at center, and it's going to be grabbed off by Nyes. Nyes is in. The goaltender is back in the net. We didn't know that till he got in on goal. Now they'll go with a 6th attacker. I thought he had the empty net all by himself. Puck along the boards in the Toronto zone. Kept alive here and into the corner is Strome. Tried to get it back, and then now Strome centers. That's knocked back there by the goaltender and into the corner. It'll go far side. Net empty and 6 attackers on with 1:22. Down around the boards back of the net. Strome lets it go to the near corner. Coming out of the corner, it's Carlson to Strome. Back and over on the boards. It'll come back to Carlson. Carlson into the slot area for Lacombe. Back to Carlson holding. Shot away. Glove save. Wall. Maybe his best of the game in traffic. Makes the save with 1:06 left to play.
Boy, Matthews, Marner, and Nyes all out for a 1:07 shift.
I got to apologize because we didn't know that the goaltender had gone back in. We never saw that on our television screen. I thought Nyes was going to put this game away. 1:06 and a timeout by Anaheim. And Greg Cronin, as they will discuss what they want to do here. And the Leafs counter with their defensive strategy with 1:06 left to go.
Anaheim has scored 8 goals this year, 6 on 5. They've only given up 10 empty netters. So -2, 6 on 5 is pretty impressive, isn't it? The Leafs are 5 goals, 6 on 5. 2 of them are against San Jose.
Rich Clune, who was one of the toughest customers in the American Hockey League with the Marlies over the years, drawing up something for the Ducks here as they try to gain the equalizer. Tavares coming over the boards to take the face-off. Matthews and Nylander are out there as well. McCabe talking with Willie. So the draw will be in the circle to the left of Joseph Wall. McTavish taking the draw for Anaheim, and everybody moving early. And McTavish, has he been waved out? I believe he has. Yep. So Leo Carlson takes the draw against Tavares, who wins it cleanly. Fanning on it, there to send it around the boards was Tanev. It goes to the far boards, now into the slot. The shot blocked away nicely by Wall. Chipped along the boards by Tanev, but not cleared. Leafs trying to get to a loose puck in the near corner. Back of the net, Matthews chops it in along the boards, but it was blocked. Back on the boards for Tavares. Tavares to Nylander. Going wide. Willie's got an empty net now. Tried to chip it in front. Tavares can't stuff it in. And it's going to be brought up on the far wall, and out come the Ducks. To the line and in. Lacombe pulls it up. 28 seconds left. One-timer on the far side. Stopped by Wall. Tanev gets it to Matthews. Matthews gets it ahead. Tavares to center. They don't get it into the zone. Back in over the line. Shot back out by Toronto. Towards the empty net. It won't be enough. But time has 10 seconds left. Back in on the right side. 5 seconds into the corner. To the side of the net. Thrown away by Wall. Heads up play as it comes back. And the game is over.
My goodness.
Sharp play by Wall to throw that puck away and not bring a face-off with about 5 seconds left.
Able to do it, and the Leafs recovered it and got it out of the zone. Anaheim shoots Toronto 30-23 on the night. But Steven Lorenz now, 7 goals on the season. 4 of the 7 have been game winners. Well, but I mean, you talk about the postseason and you talk about secondary scoring, but you're talking about secondary scoring in games like this.
Yep.
Max Domi opens the scoring for the Leafs. Yeah, you get Mitch Marner on the board, so one of the big boys shows up on the score sheet. But it was a great shift by the fourth line. Didn't look like they really generated a scoring chance. But Steven Lorenz deflects one that's going 5 feet wide, short side on Dostal. And the Leafs take 5 out of 6 points in California. You would have been thrilled with that before they left. But we're going to criticize how they got it because the one that you thought would have been an easier 2 points, they ended up splitting with San Jose, but they had to earn that with 2 late goals in the third period. But again, important to win in regulation. As now you pull even with Tampa. That is the number 1 tiebreaker. And you've got the Leafs are ahead of Florida. 2 regulation wins, even with the Tampa Bay Lightning, although both teams have a game in hand.
So the Maple Leafs will return home. And Wednesday night is the huge game again with Florida. 2 of them left in the schedule. They have to play down in Sunrise later on in back-to-back games with the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, and Tampa's not going away. I mean, they continue to roll too.
Yep. So it will be an important evening at Scotiabank Arena. We hope that you will join us if you're not going to be in attendance. And we will have that for you right here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. We'll ship it off to Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert. Post-game show coming your way. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan on the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Every reaction that I have seen to the breaking news is what the hell just happened.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
The Memphis Grizzlies have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
There has to be more to the story. Whoa, this is out of nowhere.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. Haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking bows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. And Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job.
The
tournament is here. March Madness is here. The craziness is here. Don't forget, hit that like button down below and share this link out so we can get more basketball fans here in the chat, hanging out with us, cheering on your favorite team.
Clayton steals it and lays it in. Clayton a good look. Hit 6.
Check out our new website, www.torontosportsinsider.com, and check out the link that is in the description as well as in the chat that shows where all of the live viewers are watching from. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? I bet you have now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking out our Bracket Mania campaign. A lot more coming up soon.
Comer. He drops the They cut to the rim. Slam down. The steal at the line. Fielder up high and down hard. And slamming it in his field. To spin Comer looking. Winding up and slapping it down. They're going to compete tomorrow. Just haven't been able to do so. Bernard Thompson with a 3.
This is what a great scene this is.
Stunning, absolutely stunning.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us.
A stride on Wednesday. So glad that they did what they needed to do on the West Coast.
Yeah, it took a stride today. Job well done. Job done for the Maple Leafs, getting 5 points from Joe Wall. The 2 ugly losses were hung on him. Obviously, he gave up 4 goals versus the Predators, 5 goals against the Sharks to start this trip. So bounce back effort, 28 saves for Joseph Wall. I thought he was really good in this game. We don't have to, relitigate the conversation between Stolarz and Wall. But just another data point when we get to the end of the road and we figure out exactly who's going to be starting for the Maple Leafs. But yeah, credit Wall for a good bounce back effort.
All right. And great to see Steven Lorentz get that goal, the game winner for the Maple Leafs. It's 7 goals for him this year. 4 of them are game winners. That's clutch.
Pretty good.
All right. Let's take one last look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit ConnexOntario.ca.
8 games in the NHL today, 7 of which have been concluded. The Canadians beat the Panthers, as you mentioned, 4-2 earlier on. Jets with a 3-1 victory over the Canucks. The Sabres beat up on the Capitals 8-5, but Alexander Ovechkin scored his 890th goal, 5 away from passing Gretzky. Blackhawks lose 5-2 against the Utah Hockey Club. Penguins got a 1-0 overtime win over the Senators. Islanders lost 6-4 to the Hurricanes in Raleigh. And the only game ongoing is the Sharks visiting the Kings, who are up 2-0 nearing the end of the first period.
All right, we get a rare treat. We will be in the building on Wednesday night for our next Sportsnet 590, the Fan Molson Leafs Hockey
Game
broadcast.
Of the year.
Wednesday night versus the Panthers, and with the Blue Jays schedule, we don't have our regular fan pregame, but we will be in person to get you set for puck drop at 7 p.m. on Wednesday night. Looking forward to catching up then. Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee is next. Thanks for listening to Sportsnet 590, the Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I don't know what that was. Christian, Luke, I guess it's, I don't know. Anyway. Right as we're coming on, just balloons launched on Luke's screen. Happy birthday to Luke, maybe, possibly. Leafs talk, JD Buckus, Sam McKee. But I got to start with this. When Matthew Knies bobbled that puck on a clear breakaway, beautiful move, and then the Leafs on a, basically wide open net with William Nylander and John Tavares hunting for the empty net goal, also did not score. For the Leafs to not get the hockey gods to punish them was one of the most shocking results of the entire season. I would have, if you could have froze time there, I would have bet anything that they were going to get scored on.
I will definitely agree with you on the empty net. I think the empty net stuff really tempts the hockey gods. If you don't just hammer it into the middle of the net, I'll always agree with you on that one. But the Knies one, he puts a guy in a post or puck rolls off a stick. It's in the flow of the game. He put, I'm not going to tempt the hockey gods with that one. I can see your point, but the empty net.
It was more that they left the goalie in the net there against all odds, and they didn't eke him out, and that it was working out. I just thought both of those things were I'm going to remember this because that's what happened preceding it twice.
And that puck was on a centimeter from the goal line with a gaping cage. That's why hockey is the most frustrating thing. It was a centimeter from crossing the net with literally no goalie in there. And they're just whacking away on it. But they find a way. They shut it down. Couple huge shot blocks in that last minute there. Important 2 points to the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, bud.
Yeah, massive. They're going to go into that Florida game with the Panthers bricking it today against the Montreal Canadiens with a lead in the division. They are going to be able to come out of that game against Florida with still a lead in the division because they're 3 points up now, right? I think that's right.
Unless do they play in between now and then? I don't know. I'll look at the schedule.
The Leafs don't. Maybe Florida does.
Florida, I'll quickly look.
Maybe Florida does, but the Leafs definitely don't. They don't play until Wednesday. Yeah. So big win. I love this stuff, man, because I know we're going to get in the game, but just in terms of the points, I like that a game against the Anaheim Ducks on a Sunday night felt super important for this team. I love that they're actually in a stretch run. I know that it's a bit of a polarizing topic. There's the scaredy cats like you that are just terrified of playing Ottawa, just want to play Tampa Bay. And just want to bend the knee, just want to go to the comfort zone of being in the second place slot in the Atlantic and just face the Atlantic team. But for those of us that have a heart, those of us that are aching for a Battle of Ontario and for hockey to matter, or just to have stretch run hockey instead of just limp in, year out the same way where the last few weeks don't matter. This is thrilling stuff. This got me going today.
Yeah, I totally agree. Felt big. And just to answer the question, the Leafs actually get the Panthers on the second half of back-to-back. They play in Montreal Tuesday, then in Toronto on Wednesday night. So they'll get them on the second half of the back-to-back. So they have a chance to get within 1 point of the Leafs. But like you said, Leafs will go into that game on Wednesday with at least a point up and with a chance to stretch the lead. So exciting stuff. And you're right. And I thought the Ducks were a pretty willing combatant tonight. I thought they played well. Thought they had some good young talent on that team. And I thought the Leafs dominated the second period. Felt like they could have been up more for stretches of this game, but the Ducks find a way to tie it. They get, like I said, they get a fourth line goal. But I actually thought this was a really competitive, good game tonight, and a sneaky, impressive win for the Leafs on the second half of back-to-back after last night. So I give the Leafs full marks for this one for a good effort. I thought particularly the first line had a lot of dominant shifts tonight, more than we've seen from them in, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks. It really felt like they were coming in waves with Matthews and Marner and Knies specifically, who was a mule tonight just in front of the net. He doesn't end up getting his goal because of the high stick, which we can get into later. But it was really nice to see the first line have a really good showing. I thought they were great.
Yeah, I thought the first line was good. And I do think that there was a little bit of maturity with the Leafs tonight. Normally on the back-to-back, people always think you got to give your best punch early. Yeah. Because you're going to fade as the game goes on. Yeah. I actually think that the Leafs made a mistake early on in this hockey game, and that it was a pretty brutal one, and that they avoided for the rest of the contest, which is one of the reasons why I think the Leafs lose to crappy teams like this at times. And the Ducks are plucky and they got some talent, whatever.
They don't full on suck.
Yeah, they don't full on suck, but they suck. They're the Ducks.
They're close to sucking. Yeah, they're close to sucking.
Let's just be real here. The Ducks suck. It's a team that sucks. The Leafs sometimes jump into that okay, we'll play shinny against you mode. Yeah. And I thought that they did that at the start of this game where they went we'll play up and down hockey with you, Anaheim. chance for chance, and Anaheim loved it. And what happened? The game starts, and I know part of it is that a power play, the Ducks go on the power play. They get a bunch of shots on the first opportunities that they get, but shots started 9-1 in this game, bud. Yeah. It was not a good start for this team. I thought Wool was real sharp, that he was, as you love to say, snapping around in his net. Looked like the good version of Wool that we've seen, a guy that's feeling it early. Nothing too crazy dangerous. I thought that like he made a couple of good saves with the pads, kind of kicking shots out, but nothing too crazy, but sort of kind of kept the Leafs around and then let them settle into this game. And then to your point, like, I think that the second period was way more just Toronto Maple Leafs hockey, where they started to be the team that put their imprint on the game. And that's what I want to see against bad teams from Toronto is I don't want you to play their game. I don't want you to play shinny. I want you to play Toronto Maple Leafs hockey and dominate. And that's why I thought the second period was the best one. And that, I thought they were also the better team in the third, even though I thought it was closer to even.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And I'll kind of zoom in on Wool there. I think this is an important bounce back for him because like you can talk about competition, and as you like to say, the Ducks do suck. And I was looking, there's 4 teams below them in the West, and all those teams suck really bad. So they definitely are in the neighborhood of sucking pretty hard. But I think when you give up 9 goals to the 31st and 32nd ranked offenses in the league and back-to-back starts, regardless of who the competition is, you need to have a good showing. And I just thought he looked like the good version of Wall. And as we get closer to the playoffs here, you just have to build good starts for these two guys, and they both have to look good because you want to have confidence in both of these guys because you might have to go back and forth in the playoffs. You don't know how this goes. So I'm sure this is it's a good confidence building start for Wall, for the coaching staff, for his teammates, for everybody, because the last 2 were really ugly. And I thought tonight he was really, really impressive. And especially in the first period, like you said, keeping them in it at times with a bit of a tardy start for the Leafs. But I was
imagine he let in a bad one tonight, right? Like that was hanging over me when the game was tied, when the Leafs blew their 2-goal lead. I was thinking, don't let this be Wool who just lets in a softie. And that's all we're talking about at the end of this game, because it would have sucked. I didn't want that. And I kind of would have thought that if he would have cost them this game, like, we're getting close here, man. It would have felt very closest to nail in the coffin in terms of who's starting game 1.
Yeah, I still think there's time. I think that's fair. That like I do think, how many is it? 8 left now?
8? 9 at the most.
8 or 9. Anyways, I think you'll probably go to 50-50 down the stretch here, and then you just see who plays that. 8 left, 4-4 for me, and then you just go from there, right? Like you just figure it out.
I don't think it'll be 4-4. I think it's because whoever they're leaning to is going to get more starts. I know they want both guys fresh, and it'll be close to it. But I still think that you're giving one guy at least one more start here. Like if you know who it is, they're going to get a little bit more workload, because you got to think about it this way too. Like whoever you're leaning with right now is getting that Florida start, because that's a massive game. So you're not screwing around going like, oh, well, Wool was hot. It's like whoever they think is the guy as of today is getting that.
That's a great point. I think Wednesday just tells you more than anything.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Wednesday,
yeah. It's like Wednesday is basically game 1 of the playoffs, because you've got 3 games here against Tampa and Florida. But the first one of the Tampa-Florida series, I don't know how much it tells you, unless they're really thinking traditionally, where it's like they go with the best chance to win in the first game. But like, I don't know. I think that's going to be the kind of where we're at here. And I would expect that it's going to be Stolarz, but I wouldn't be blown away shocked if it ended up being Wool.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And I think it's just, you can look at Wednesday, but they do have 2 more back-to-backs. Yeah. The week I'm away, they play I think they play 2 back-to-backs that weekend. So that week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Saturday, Sunday. Masters Sunday at 5 a.m. against the Carolina Hurricanes.
Everyone should be in jail.
Masters Sunday, sick scheduling there. Pick up a calendar, NHL. Are you kidding me? Like, Jesus. What is that? Anyways, but they do have 2 more back-to-back, so that's at least 2 starts each for both the guys there, and then you kind of go, and then you build in from outs there. But just to get back to the Wall point and to finish it off, awesome performance for him to bounce back after 2 really, really shaky ones against crappy teams, Nashville and San Jose. So good for him.
Big goal from the 4th line. That's the game winner.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though, that the story of the game was the top line. It was just another good night for Marner, who had real jump.
Yeah.
But I want to hone in on the fourth line to start here because they don't ever really get talked about on this show. If we can run this goal, I got to tell you, there's a couple things about it. One, it starts off with an awesome forecheck by these guys. Like this clip actually starts late. Like this is too late for where this like play starts to begin for these guys. Yeah. Because when they get that puck in deep, those boys are on the puck. It's Holmberg and it's Lorentz who just immediately get to it. If we have it a little bit longer, Luke, that'd be great. I don't know if we do, but this play, the way that they get in on the puck, they win the battle. And then I texted this to you before the goal even happened. Like Holmberg, when he pops, he makes a really strong play to get away from his defender using his body. And I'm like, he sneaky, big and strong and is able to kind of feed it back and then gets this goal kind of created. So good on Holmberg, good on Lorentz going to the dirty areas. Like, yeah, that's it. Where it's like, look at Holmberg battling down there, just fighting. And then good pass back, just overall awesome shift from your fourth line. Like talking playoffs, this is the kind of goal you need in one game in a series. Like one game in a series, you got to have this one where it's like the fourth line chips in a huge goal this exact way.
He's got, I mean, Lorentz here, sneaky clutch gene situation. Like they were talking about on the broadcast. How many of his goals this year are game winners now? I think he scored 7, and 3 of them are game winners. And if you'll remember, a game that we didn't do Leafs talk after an Argos game, we were watching it at the bar, and he scored a goal late against St. Louis. Like that, I think it made it 3-2, and then they were back in that game. Nice backhand goal. I mean, I remember that, but I can't remember my email password. But anyways, he scored that goal, which made it a close game in a tight game too. So like this guy does have a bit of a knack for finding a big one. And you know, like I've said, everything's forecasting towards playoff. And like you said, that's a great cycle playoff type shift. And let's just give him some credit here. That's a filthy tip. That's like, he knows exactly what he's doing, shortens up the hands, directs the stick, and gets it upstairs. And he loves it. Like that's just one that you like from him. And more,
he's definitely surprised it goes in though from the angle that he's on. Yeah,
for sure. But like the way he brings his hands in and gets his stick right, like he's trying to do what he does, but I don't think he can believe it came off. Like that's probably where he's at with that one. But if I'm going to give some grunts some credit tonight, I thought Benoit had an awesome game. I think he finished plus. I thought he finished +3 tonight. Had an assist. I don't know when it was. I asked the guys to clip it, but on the Marner goal, he makes a really good play to break up. I don't know, was it 3-on? Maybe it was a 3-on-1 or whatever. And then they go back to
one, but yeah,
whatever it was. And he makes that play. He makes a great box out in front of the net where Wall is able to grab it. I thought that Benoit had a really good game. Like this is a good read, attacks him, and then the puck ends up coming out here, and Marner goes down and he scores on this play. So, you know, we've been hard on Benoit, and we both thought that it could potentially be a Myers night tonight. Coach sticks with the winning lineup, and he's rewarded with a good game by Benoit. I thought he was impressive. So good for him.
I thought this was one of the better Benoit games that we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, maybe that's the season, quite honestly.
Yeah, you touched on a lot there. But yeah, the Marner goal, by the way, like what a move. He had another one where he hits a post shortly after that.
Yeah, he was buzzing.
Dostal was biting on the moves tonight. Leafs should have had a few more on him.
Yeah, he was definitely pretty excited to make a move when they did. Like he was loving to bite. So
yeah.
He's like me and a slice of pizza after 6 beers. He was just dying to bite it. So yeah, but this is a great move. This is a signature Marner. Yeah. The backhand right back to the forehand, shoot it in. He tried to do it against the Sharks in the shootout, but it usually comes off, and he did it here today. But I love that play from Benoit, and that's just the fourth line plays well. Your sixth defenseman who's been up and down has a great game. It's just, you need contributions from outside of the Stars, and they got him.
Yeah, I think Benoit was really good tonight, but just overall, I thought the Leafs did another good job as a team. Like when I'm talking about Toronto Maple Leafs hockey, a lot of that in terms of what changed from the shots when they're like 9-1 to whatever they ended up as is like them just getting in shooting lanes and blocking a lot of shots. They blocked a ton of shots again tonight. And again, everybody just seems really committed to doing it. And by the way, on the lines, like, we're doing this thing about how there's still time with the goalies.
Yeah.
Third line was better in stretches tonight. Still looks a little lost. Tough one because Lawton makes a bad play, like on
a little lost, if you will.
But it's like Lawton feeds one back to Tanev on the Ducks' first goal of the game, and like Tanev's got two guys there with him. He's like, "Why are you putting this back here?" And loses the battle. It ends up on Karlsson's stick. He flips one in. They get a goal from Domi, which was a beauty in this game. But overall, like, I don't know. This just feels like the bottom six, man. Like, this is it. Like, I think, sure, maybe they're going to throw Nick Robertson in there after a loss and a back-to-back or something like that, or he'll get maybe like the final game of the season. But this is the bottom six, brother. Like, this is your playoff bottom six.
Yep. I totally agree. And if you go into game 1 or game 2, you don't get enough offense, you're fighting it, you're desperate, you stick Nick Robertson in there for game injury, 3, for 1, whatever. That's how he's getting back in.
Yeah.
So this is the playoff bottoms. And you're right. I think Yarncroc had a couple moments tonight where he's looking aggressive. He's doing his thing where he skates fast. Domi has a beautiful goal. Lawton looks like a hockey player, I guess. Like I don't have a ton of great things to say about him tonight, but thought the line was okay. And the fourth line gets you a big goal. But yeah, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, this is going to be the bottom six, and you just hope they can figure it out. That's what basically it comes down to.
But, that Domi goal was gorgeous, though, and like, got to tell you too, to embarrass Radko Gudas, and I'm so glad they even threw Gudas up in the graphic here to be like, you know who it was. Only felt better. The only thing that was missing from that goal, which I wish would have happened, is somebody would have screamed in his face.
Would have been awesome.
Really would have been missed opportunity for the guys there to just scream in Gudas's face and try to get a picture.
I think Gudas is going to be screaming in the mirror tonight anyway. He'll be screaming in his own face. I think he was was he on for all 3 tonight? I think he was dash 3.
That one, it's like he's just sticking the hip out, praying.
That's a great move. That's
an awesome move. Like
made him bite on the wrister, cuts it back to the backhand, hard backhander, top of the net. That's a beautiful goal. But that's I'd rather go Gudas ending up -3 and getting danced in a game. That's a shame. That's a Jerry Seinfeld gift time here. That's a shame.
Real tough shame.
Hate to see that. You hate to see it.
Hate to see it happen as such a good guy, such a likable character like Radko Gudas, who does end up as a -3. All right. I like, you know me, but I don't talk about the refs.
Oh, here we go.
But if I did talk about the refs, I would say that they missed 2 easy layup calls in the final 10 minutes of the hockey game that really could have screwed the Leafs.
Yeah. I thought they were genuinely horrendous tonight. Like you can pick out a lot of spots where refs are pretty bad, but tonight I thought they were particularly awful. Is the high stick count as ref talk?
Well, yeah, I guess that counts as ref talk because the refs, technically got it wrong as well because they blew it. They said it was fine in the moment.
So they got it. I sent a tweet, but I'll say it here. Like those 2 calls on a back-to-back nights being different results is a perfect microcosm of NHL officiating, where it's just like those 2 things are they're the exact same play to me. I thought last night was wrong and tonight was right. I thought that the back angle showed that the stick was high. I thought last night was wrong. But if last night is not a high stick, tonight is not a high stick. It's the exact same thing to me. So I can't believe they got it. Like, I don't know. We don't need to spend a ton of time on it, but I
actually have my only positive ref talk of the night on this.
Look at this.
I would so much rather the refs let that go than blow that dead and then use the review. So like, to me, this is actually one where the best thing played out, where it's kind of like the fumble in football, where it's like, don't blow the play dead, let the play run its course, and then force the other team to use a challenge and review. That angle is tough. That angle is tough. But again, it's the same thing to me where
everybody in my mentions last night was angle talk, where the ref on the ice called it definitive. It's like, oh, this angle. That's
what I'm saying. I thought for me, neither gets overturned for me. I'm just the same position where unless it's crazy conclusive, if you've done it on the ice, you leave it. And I thought both the one from last night and the one from tonight, you couldn't tell me exactly when it touches the stick. I know Luke tries to sewer me and put up little pictures, and tell her, like, be like, this is a conclusively win, but it's not.
I think
like even that angle, it's like that's taken from above. I don't know, man. Like
both high sticks. Last night was wrong. Tonight was right, in my opinion.
Yeah, both high sticks.
They both high sticks.
I love it not getting called and then getting reviewed and then just letting the chances go with the gods there on the review.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyways.
That's what I want. Anyway, the ref talk that was egregious to me was the play that Tanev breaks up, which was spectacular. Great on Tanev. Should have never had to make the play because, again, second NFL reference, reminded me of the NFL pick play where it's like the Ducks player just grabs McCabe off the blue line and like whips him around, and that's allowed somehow, not interference.
You know, the only time they call that's in Game 7 against the Leafs with Justin Hall. That's the only time they call that one.
But I'm like, that to me is the most interference. Like sometimes it's a ticky-tack penalty where like guys get like that's a scoring play 2-on-1, and I guess like the lines is looking at that whether the play's onside or not, and just completely misses it. But that one was
Referee's staring right at it down below.
That's what I mean. Like, what are you looking at if you're below the play?
No, that one was very bad. And I don't know. I didn't ask.
Albrecht and Larson one.
I didn't ask him to cut that. So
we didn't cut it. Yeah, whatever. Everybody saw it. Yeah. Gets dragged down from behind basically as he tries to lift the puck out. And again, the ref is right there and no call. And I went, it's very strange that they kind of decided that they were going to put their whistles away when the team, like the Ducks were chasing it and trying to get an extra greasy to try to get that goal. Anyway, I don't talk about the rest of it. If I did, that would be.
And for one more time, and just to finish off our favorite conversation here, we got to talk about the Knies thing, because I thought that was the worst of the night. I thought that was egregious. Like, this is a great hit. Hammers him. And the guy comes in on him, and he's just supposed to let the guy rough him up? Like, you're just supposed to not. That's either two or none. You taking Knies out of that situation when a guy engages him is horrible officiating. It's a great hit, and he's about to go off. Guy comes over to him, and he engages with him. Like, what, you expected him to not do anything? What do you expect?
The guy engages, but like he doesn't grab. Not anyway. That one to me is like whatever. I actually just love this because I love it for two reasons. One, huge hit by Knies, truck. Second one, guy comes in, and I think that it was a pretty innocent play. And like you see that angle, it's pretty obvious that's going to be a roughing call. Like I don't know why that one upset you.
Because the guy initiated it. He started. He grabs him by the face, and then Knies is like, "I'm stronger and bigger than you." He did. Show the other angle. Grabs him. For me, for the ref to be behind the play there and have come in there and point over the top and say that he's the only one that committed an infraction here is egregious. Like, this happens all the time. It's obviously just two or none.
I just love it. I just love that Knies made somebody have to think about whenever they come in and touch him and how strong he is with not only the hit.
Grabs him by the face here. Look at bang.
And then as he's getting pulled down.
Anyways, he got it. It should be two. Both of them.
Okay.
Okay. This is a great zag. This is a great zag. We don't talk about the rest. We don't talk about this. Is a great zag by you. I especially love it. But that's obviously horrendous officiating and by far the most egregious one. So, anyways,
but
we don't talk about the rest. So stop it.
Really bad. But
no, it's
anyways,
not.
I just love that he bends him like
Gumby. It's a good zag by you.
He gets bent in half, and you could just see his lower body just scraping up against the boards. It was just a hilarious visual too of just how strong Knies is. That another NHL player came up to him, and then within seconds, he's like, "Oh, my back is broken." Like, this guy is
Biff in half face. Spine breaking is a penalty.
Turns out putting a guy's back over the boards when he comes in and barely touches you is a call. This is a shocking thing to you. You just found out tonight. Okay. Anything else for you?
No, I don't think I have anything else. Hold on. Let me
try to look through.
Actually, no. Carlo ended up -1 tonight, but he's just a shot blocking machine. He had to have blocked 6. I don't know how many. 5? It felt like 15. He was blocking everything tonight. And this guy continues to grow for me. Last night endeared him so much. By the way, a lot of people don't have eyes, It's thinking that it's like, oh, he didn't get beat up. I was like, buddy, like everyone's like, oh, he threw some bombs. Like my mentions. I'm like, Jesus, I guess we don't have eyes.
Listen, if you thought that he didn't lose that fight, then you got to be literally like your brain dead. Like your brain dead.
I know. Anyways, he's really, really I'm really understanding him now, watching him more and more. And he's been a great pickup. Been a really that was a really good trade. And you can picture this guy being hugely important for the Leafs in the playoffs. Like, he doesn't play big minutes. He doesn't have to because the Leafs have other shutdown guys. But as like a second pair, secondary shutdown guy, he's important. And I liked him a lot tonight. I really did.
I just feel like as long as he doesn't get caught in space.
Yeah.
If
he gets speed caught in space, it's dangerous. No question. Doesn't turn too quick, but
speed
got
caught
a big gap. Yeah.
But in front of the net, seems to rarely be out of position. Yeah. He's so strong that when guys try to get to their spots, he's able to push them out of those areas. He's great with the stick, and he's got a real simple game, like never really screws around with it, never really makes I haven't seen any mistakes where I'm like, oh, why did he do that? Why did he make that decision? It's like, it's easy, it's safe, and it's simple.
Yeah.
And positionally solid, great stick, big, strong guy. I don't know, blocks a lot of shots, fearless. What's not to like?
Like him.
So big fan of his. I just thought that he did, but by the way, that's the same thing with Nyes. I thought he did the exact opposite of the Carlo thing tonight, where it was like he was just around the other team's net like a dog, just fighting for his spots all night long with that first line, and makes it so much easier for those guys when he's just a Hulk who refuses to not just barrel forward towards the front of the net and just sit there. And even the goal that was called off, after, it's same thing. Nyes going right to the net, hungry for one, gets it taken away. But he was Nyes was really good tonight, man. This was a very high caliber Nyes night.
Yeah, man. You can see he's already really good.
Yeah.
And he's a kid, but he's got potential elite power forward.
Yeah.
He's a potential elite power forward. Amongst the premier ones in the league, if he continues to grow like he has in the past couple of years. Think about how much he improved from last year to this year.
Yeah,
it's gone to another level this year, and he's perfect complement with those guys. I still would love to see him play with another line and see if you can drive it a little more and be more of a focal point of the line, because they're obviously great and you don't want to break it up right now, but there is part of me where I would like to see him play.
No, I get
somebody
it.
Else.
No,
where he gets to drive something else.
So the one thing the reason why I love him just Gumbying that guy tonight is, and I've said this before, I want him to play with just a little bit more snarl. And I just like that he snapped when some guy came in and just went right into psycho mode and tried to break someone's back on the boards. Which is awesome to me. More of that. And what I think would be great at some point early in his career, again, it's probably not going to happen this year, but having a guy like Lawton who has that type of bite in his game and figuring out another guy who has some talent and some edge, trying to create some sort of a line where, he's a bit of a focal point and that they can hit you, they can get to the front of the net, they can move with some speed, they forecheck, I think the ultimate destiny of that dude, I hope anyways, at least we get a look at that, So I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. And a night like this only makes me want it more. I got to tell you, I've defended these Ducks uniforms and people are put terraces about them in the chat. I like them in person. I think they're horrible on the ice.
I actually think I've kind of gone the other way on them. Not that I like them, but oh my God, did you read my mind? That is what I was about to say. Did I send a text in my sleep about that? That is way better. Thank you, whoever. Thank you, Luke.
I agree, but that's what I mean. I like the sweater, but the all orange when you're watching a game is tough.
Yeah, the black pants with a black helmet, they are way better. But it just, you look. I don't know. I know you're not a big Shoresy guy, but the team in the CU Hunt or whatever. That's what they look like. They look like a fictional TV show team. They're almost like they're based on a movie or something. That's what they look like.
Almost like that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's a good logo. If they just went back to purple with that logo, because it's kind of a newer version of the logo, but I think they did a great job with it. But if they just did the purple with that new logo, it would be a 10 out of 10. But no, we got to reinvent the wheel. We got to be the fanciest team ever. We got to have the bright orange. It drives me crazy.
Buddy, you got to remember,
it's crazy, man.
It is funny that literally they're just like the Raptors were at one point the version of the Ducks where it's like team that got made from a movie and went with a crazy jersey and a crazy logo, but they've done better with like their purple throwbacks versus the Ducks who have not with their purple throwbacks. It's funny that like the Ducks are literally to hockey what the Raptors are to both have a championship, like both uncanny championship locations for the sport they play. I always think about the Raptors when I see the Ducks, where I'm like, this is how NBA fans feel when they win.
But unlike the Raptors, they should actually make a jersey with Teemu Selanne on it instead of the Raptors making one with Vince Carter on it, who quit on the team, and they like honor him every night.
Yeah, it's like there's been like 45 celebrate Vince Carter nights.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's in a Teemu night, Ducks.
Yeah, Teemu's busy making horrific movies.
Hey. Why don't you say that about my boy Teemu?
Hey, he did my fun for the promotion of it, but I tried to watch some of it and I was like, I gotta stop. Sorry.
Oh, you mean a movie with the stars are Keith Kachuk and it was Brett Hall. It was Brett Hall.
Brett Hall and him. Yeah, but I tried to give it a go. All right, that's it for me. Subscribe to the podcast.
Last thing for me, quick. Went to London today to watch my beloved Attack.
Yeah,
and we got beat. Shocking out development. We're down 4-0. Came back, made it a game. It was fun. But just shout out to all the fellas that stopped me today. Said they love Leafs talk. You know, it was sweet. So thank you all of you in London. Even though I hate your guts and I hate your team, and you got a whiny baby fan base that cries over it. You got 7 first-round picks on your team, and every time a stick gets touched on a guy, they're crying about the refs, and most entitled fan base in all of junior hockey. But outside of that, love you. So really enjoyed myself.
So those of you that he just talked about, if you could just do us a favor and hit a thumbs up on the show, and we rely on you.
First round picks isn't enough. Oh, we got to get every call too. Jeez, it's just embarrassing, that crowd there. Anyways, we're done.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JDBarkers. Subscribe, review, reach out anytime, and we'll see you Wednesday for a massive game against the Panthers.
Woohoo!
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists? The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
1 minute, so you have 20 shifts. I'm going to give you 40 shifts at 30 seconds so you can build the intensity up. Understand? Yeah, I understand, Mike. Goes out there. Of course, it's a minute and a half. I said, now, Alex, the guy that's supposed to be playing behind you just missed a shift because now we're going to the next rotation. You're out there for 2 rotations. Okay, Michael. So... Again, next thing, does it again. So I said, oh, my God. So I said, okay, guys, this time when he comes back to the bench, it's now going to overextend his shift. He's going to be a little tired. Don't open the doors. He comes over, and I said, get out. He thinks I love him now. Get back out there, I said. So then he comes over again. And now I said, guys, he's going to want to climb into the bench because he's done. I said, when he comes over, puts his leg up, push him back out. And they pushed him. But now they are laughing on the bench. This is in New York City. Right during the game. Back there. So Alex figures it out. He scores a goal in the middle of this shift. Wow. He gives himself a rest. stays out there, finishes the period. So I think it's about 9 minutes. I walk off the bench. I said, Mess, explain it to him, will you, please? He said, I will. Don't worry. I'll look after it. So as a result, we fast forward now to the playoffs in Game 6, playing New Jersey. In the Jersey series, I double shifted him. When we had to come back, and he was electrifying. Mess got the 3 goals, but Alex was a horse. And it's very talented, powerful. And the problem was he was so efficient that he could stay out, but he didn't grasp the concept of just picking up the intensity. You could see him. He could dangle and hang onto the puck, and nobody could take it from him. He was resting while he was out there. So
in essence, it was a bit of a training ground for what was to come against the Devils at the most important time.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it turned out to be a good lesson for him, because that's what he did in that game. 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I just said, Alex, I'm going to double shift you. Get ready. Don't be out too long.
That was former NHL head coach Iron Mike Keenan in conversation with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin for the Morning Skate on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. That's SiriusXM Channel 91.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Montreal Canadiens. Panthers on XM219 Internet 931, Canadiens on Internet 934. 3 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Vancouver Canucks. Jets on XM220 Internet 951, Canucks on Internet 948. 3 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 4 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks face the Utah Hockey Club. Blackhawks on XM219 Internet 925, Utah on Internet 947. 5 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Ottawa Senators. Penguins on XM221 Internet 941, Senators on Internet 939. 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Islanders. Hurricanes on XM222 Internet 924, Islanders on Internet 937. 8 p.m., Anaheim Ducks host the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ducks on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 920, Leafs on Internet 946. 10 p.m., LA Kings take on the San Jose Sharks. Kings on XM219 Internet 932, Sharks on Internet 942. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Montreal Canadiens. Panthers on XM219 Internet 931, Canadiens on Internet 934. 3 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Vancouver Canucks. Jets on XM220 Internet 951, Canucks on Internet 948. 3 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 4 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks face the Utah Hockey Club. Blackhawks on XM219 Internet 925, Utah on Internet 947.
The PGA Tour comes to life on SiriusXM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
Former Buffalo Sabres head coach Don Granato was on the Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to talk about how different today's athletes are, as well as what it's been like to watch Austin Matthews grow.
It's really a switch in the last 10 years. The first birth year I had at the national team program was 95 birth year. So it was JT Compher, Tyler Mott, that group. You have them for 2 years, so the next birth year coming in was the 97s, which was prolific. It was Austin Matthews and Matthew Tkachuk and McAvoy and Hanifin, Werenski. And I remember talking to the coaches back then that this birth year is way different than the 95 birth year. And this summer, ironically, I picked up a book that titled The Anxious Generation. And I thought it was very well documented, and the author used the iPhone. And the iPhone came out in 2008 or 6, somewhere in that range. But social media didn't hit hard on the iPhone, where you could rate a kid's looks if you're a high school student. And so judging other people on a social media app on the iPhone was about 2013. And so now you think about all these kids going to high school, and we never had this. They could be made fun of on social media. They don't even know it, and they're walking out of a classroom and people are laughing. Yeah. So it's a different world we all live in because we're all criticized and compared to more and faster. And with that, you need to balance that with support. And I think, lots of coaches that have gone, that I watch around the league in the NHL, there's a lot of great coaches and a lot of good young coaches that are really good at that. The X's and O's, I say to people, are easy now. When the X's and O's are a very simple part of hockey. It's connecting with people and getting people motivated and excited. And that's changed dramatically. X's and O's became big when video hit the computer. You could watch 100 or 1,000 forechecks over and over and over and say, okay, these are the key components on a forecheck. And so, you didn't have to be in the NHL to become better at that. So that's the easy part. I just can't imagine doing this or that I did it. I called Brian Matthews one time in Austin's U17 year. And I said, Brian, I said, do you have any idea how good your son is? And his reply was no. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you, what is this conversation? And I had to explain to him, and I said, I think this is what's going to happen in Austin. I said, you honestly have to prepare for your life to become very chaotic and crazy. And lo and behold, he gets drafted in Toronto instead of, some different market. And we know how crazy it can be here.
Oh, yeah.
But, and then the last thing I'll say on it is I remember leading up to the draft, lots of people said, can he handle Toronto? And I thought, absolutely, no problem. And the biggest thing for me is when a young player comes in the league, and we talked about earlier, if they're a -2 or -3 and they have a really tough night, you get to know how they're going to respond. And some that breaks their confidence, and maybe they need a stint in the AHL. You got to get them out of the pressure. Mm-hmm. But Austin was so good that if that happened, and when it's happened in his career, it doesn't hurt his confidence. He knows that he's in that category of player that I know I can redeem myself just get me to the next game now. And they can do, the best players can do that. And that's a different echelon of player at the NHL level that can do that. So if you look at the top players in the NHL, their confidence is not going to break. The guys right under that, they have a bad night. They may not want that next game.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Montreal Canadiens. Panthers on XM219 Internet 931, Canadiens on Internet 934. 3 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Vancouver Canucks. Jets on XM220 Internet 951, Canucks on Internet 948. 3 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 4 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks face the Utah Hockey Club. Blackhawks on XM219 Internet 925, Utah on Internet 947. 5 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Ottawa Senators. Penguins on XM221 Internet 941, Senators on Internet 939. 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Islanders. Hurricanes on XM222 Internet 924, Islanders on Internet 937. 8 p.m., Anaheim Ducks host the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ducks on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 920, Leafs on Internet 946. 10 p.m., LA Kings take on the San Jose Sharks. Kings on XM219 Internet 932, Sharks on Internet 942. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Montreal Canadiens. Panthers on XM219 Internet 931, Canadiens on Internet 934. 3 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Vancouver Canucks. Jets on XM220 Internet 951, Canucks on Internet 948. 3 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 4 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks face the Utah Hockey Club. Blackhawks on XM219 Internet 925, Utah on Internet 947.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
New York Rangers legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to share what it was like to play in the 1994 finals with the New York Rangers, as well as ending the 54-year drought for the franchise and how that team represented what a hockey team is all about.
Well, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about 1994 as well. You mentioned Mike Keenan. We spoke with him in studio a couple of weeks ago. He still speaks so highly of you and of that run. So take us back to ending the 54-year drought. In Game 7, you get a power play goal. You shovel a puck underneath of Kirk McLean. Stands up as the game winner, as it turns out. So take us back to that hot, steamy night. What was it, June 14th of 1994 at the Garden in New York?
Just, I guess just starting, going to the rink, trying to keep your same routine. Brian Leach and I would always drive together down through Times Square, down Broadway 7th Avenue to take a right-hand turn on 33rd Street. And you could feel things were different, even from the Upper West Side. Just the vibe and the energy of the whole city was just electrified. Getting down towards Madison Square Garden, seeing the crowd already starting to build, the police officers surrounding the Garden. It was a carnival-like atmosphere. Obviously, we knew we were something on the cusp of doing something that hadn't been done in 54 years. The magnitude of it was palpable. I mean, the energy, just everything just seemed to be so electrified. You try to keep yourself in the moment. You try to stay with your routine. Obviously, there's a much more at stake. And then, we found ourselves, much like we did in 87, up 3-1 in the series, losing to the 5th game, where it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that New York Rangers were finally going to win a Stanley Cup after 54 years. Only to find ourselves the party atmosphere got a little bit delayed and then had to go back to Vancouver, which again, we got trounced in Vancouver, just like we did in 87. And now we're coming home for Game 7. And the same thing happened. We felt good about our chances. We felt we were a better team than Vancouver. We felt that we should have wrapped up the series earlier against Vancouver, but that's the greatest thing about sports. You can think all you want, but the reality is they got a heartbeat over there too. They got pride over there too. They're there for a reason because they're a great team. And here we are in Game 7 and happen to go out and execute a great game plan to beat a very hungry, very young, very physical, hard team to play against in Vancouver. And luckily for us, we had a lot of experience. We had a dynamic, incredible amount of talent with Brian Leach and Sergei Zubov, Alex Kovalev, Adam Graves and Mike Richter and net, and then sprinkled in with some veterans, some hardened veterans with McTavish and Tikkanen and Steve Larmer and Noonan and Mateau and Jeff Bukaboom and Jay Wells and all the amazing players that banded together that year to create maybe not the most skilled team that's ever won a Stanley Cup, but if you look up the word team, they could put the 1994 Ranger team right there, and that year, that team epitomizes what a team is all about.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Montreal Canadiens. Panthers on XM219 Internet 931, Canadiens on Internet 934. 3 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Vancouver Canucks. Jets on XM220 Internet 951, Canucks on Internet 948. 3 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 4 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks face the Utah Hockey Club. Blackhawks on XM219 Internet 925, Utah on Internet 947. 5 p.m., Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Ottawa Senators. Penguins on XM221 Internet 941, Senators on Internet 939. 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Islanders. Hurricanes on XM222 Internet 924, Islanders on Internet 937. 8 p.m., Anaheim Ducks host the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ducks on Sirius XM channels 91 Internet 920, Leafs on Internet 946. 10 p.m., LA Kings take on the San Jose Sharks. Kings on XM219 Internet 932, Sharks on Internet 942. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, March the 30th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Montreal Canadiens. Panthers on XM219 Internet 931, Canadiens on Internet 934. 3 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Vancouver Canucks. Jets on XM220 Internet 951, Canucks on Internet 948. 3 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Buffalo Sabres. Capitals on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 950, Sabres on Internet 922. 4 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks face the Utah Hockey Club. Blackhawks on XM219 Internet 925, Utah on Internet 947.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
6-time Stanley Cup champion and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier stopped by SiriusXM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin to discuss what Game 7 means to him and what it's like to also lose a Game 7.
Well, when you think about the two greatest words in sports, you think about Game 7 for many reasons. Obviously, to get to a Game 7, both teams obviously very evenly matched from